20 of the last 26 games on the road, the feeling around the Ranger clubhouse today is, there's no place like home. Tonight, the Rangers finish out the first half of the season in the friendly confines of Globe Life Park. They host the Minnesota Twins, coming up next on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by high-speed internet from AT&T. Indeed, there is no place like home. The Rangers back in Globe Life Park in Arlington. Temperatures in the upper 90s or so. Breeze blowing in from the south, but the Rangers have their home uniforms on, and that makes them feel better. Tonight, the first of 4 against the Minnesota Twins. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Graves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Thursday night of Ranger baseball. Rangers happy to get off the road, happy to be home in front of their home crowd, and looking forward to that 4-day All-Star break. Tonight, the Twins and the Rangers have a little bit on their minds about making up for some lost room in Minnesota. Playing at home should help.
It should, Buzz. You know, it was a tough road trip. It's been a long stretch of straight games. The Rangers didn't play that well on the road. So coming home is a very nice thing. The All-Star break for 4 days is going to be very nice to go along with it. But you can see the Rangers' home record. They're 16 games above 500 at home. They're playing well on the road, too. They're 4 games over 500 on the road. But they've been one of the better hitting teams at home. They've scored as many runs as almost every team in the American League at home, and they've been winning a lot of series here at home. So after a tough trip, guys probably got to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not going to say they're the freshest team that's ever been on a baseball field, but they are glad to be home where they feel comfortable and have played great so far.
Yeah, just back sleeping in their own beds will turn your frown upside down and make that a smile on your face. Well, the Rangers getting set to take on the Twins. They will have 4 before the All-Star break. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this. Ford Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Now the breeze out of the south, about 18 to 20 miles an hour. The temperature's approaching a slow bake. And the Rangers on the field before we get things started tonight. Let's sit down and check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, Shin-Soo Choo left Tuesday's game in Boston with that stiff lower back. We wondered how serious it was, and that question was answered when we saw the lineup card today.
You'll always see the names in the lineup, always feeling good. But, you know, these games, nobody feel 100% playing the game. You know, a little bit of issue, but I've been good enough to play. So I'll talk to Benny, and then probably I can help the team.
And a little easier to go when you know you've got a 4-day break coming up in just 4 games. So Shin-Soo Choo and the rest of the Rangers looking to gather some momentum as they head into the All-Star break, guys.
Yeah, Rangers trying to come back from a rather tough stretch. You saw them lose 4 out of their last 6 games. And they will take on the Minnesota Twins, who beat them 2 out of 3. And Tom's going to tell you now about the Twins lineup tonight.
Well, all-star shortstop Eduardo Nunez, 9th in the league with a .316 average, will lead off. Joe Mauer's at first base. He'll bat second. Miguel Sano back in the lineup after a hamstring injury is the third baseman. Brian Dozier has been extremely hot since the beginning of June. He's the cleanup hitter. Max Kepler had a 7 RBI game against the Rangers in Minnesota, is batting 5th. Robbie Grossman is the DH. In left field batting 7th is Eddie Rosario. Kurt Suzuki with 16 RBIs in 19 games will bat 8th, and the Athletic center fielder Byron Buxton is batting 9th.
And then lineup, Paul Molitor cobbling it together to take on the 24-year-old right-hander Chichi Gonzalez. This is a rematch of Saturday's game, which did not, if you remember, go too well for the Rangers. That ended up a 17-5 Minnesota win. Chichi lasted only 2/3 of an inning that afternoon. So hopefully things will go better tonight for Chichi and his Ranger teammates. Second pitch of the ball game, fouled back by the All-Star Eduardo Nunez. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Nunez, as we talked about earlier, a .316 average, 11 home runs, 36 driven in. Ground ball fair inside the bag, and that is going to be extra bases. Mazara cuts it off at the throw over second, and Nunez in with a leadoff double. Yeah, shades of Saturday afternoon when he led the ball game off by doubling into the left field corner.
Yeah, and with Chichi, he's not going to strike a lot of hitters out. He's going to get a lot of, if he's throwing well, he's going to get a lot of ground balls. He's a sinker ball pitcher. And what you have to hope is that you get excellent defense from your infielders, and you get a little bit of good fortune that when you get a ground ball, it's hit at somebody. That wasn't a particularly hard hit ball. It was hit right down the line, however, and there was no one there to catch it. Goes for a double to start the game. He got the ground ball with the sinker.
Well, Nunez
ground ball just found a hole.
Yeah. 15th double of the year for the leadoff hitter for the Twins. Now here's Joe Mauer, the first baseman. 0-1. Mauer, .268, 7 home runs and 27 driven in. Joe Mauer, for a number of years, the best hitter and best player on the Twins club. That probably no longer the case. He is not the face of the franchise any longer. I think that would have to go to Brian Dozier, their second baseman. Mauer still counted on to provide some offense, and he has found that lacking, at least by his standards, the last couple of years. A ball and a strike. Gonzalez a couple of looks at second. He goes with a changeup. 2-1. Now Chichi Gonzalez, South Florida native. Rangers took him with their first round selection out of Oral Roberts University. Chichi, of course, you remember last year, burst onto the major league scene. couple of great outings. Bauer to left. They're going to hold Nunez at third. The runners at the corners. Nobody out here in the first. Miguel Sano coming up. So double single. And the Twins have something going here early.
Had a little bit of movement on it, but it's right near the middle of the strike zone, and Bauer hits a lot of balls to the opposite field. Lined that one in front of Nomar in left field. With nobody out, Twins weren't taking any chances on trying to score that run. Different circumstances, I think they wouldn't have hesitated, but right off the bat with nobody out, made sense to hold him at third base.
And you got a good look in that replay about the spin on Chichi Gonzalez fastball. And it has more of a cutting spin to it. He doesn't have a real true sinker. A two-seam fastball that he can count on getting hitters to hit the top half of the ball. This ball pretty straight, stays in the strike zone, and a pitch away to a left-hander has a tendency to work its way back to the middle of the plate. Miguel Sano, a .231 average, 13 home runs, 33 RBI for the big guy. Good fastball to the inside corner or thereabouts. 1-1.
Well, he has to be able to do that to the right-hand hitters. He has to be able to command the inner part of the plate, maybe slightly off the plate with his fastball, and hope that he can hit the batters off the hands.
Got him on the hands that time, and it's chopped foul outside third. Beltre, a bare hand pickup on that. Fair, foul. Adrian, the great hands on display.
You can see Robinson setting up on the inside part of the plate, and the ball from Chichi going right toward his glove, so he was able to hit the target, keep the ball in. So one of those big power hitters likes to get his arms extended like they all do.
Love to have a strikeout here if you possibly can. Couldn't get him to offer, and it's 2-2. You'll remember Miguel Sano was activated when the Rangers were in the Twin Cities last weekend. He spent some 27 days on the disabled list with a sore hamstring. Sano didn't fare all that well in the series, but did have a monster home run. Call strike three.
That's making a pitch right there.
You can see that comeback action.
Yeah, you can see all those pitches. Almost every one of them was pounding inside to Sano. Some of them a little bit off the plate, some of them right on the inside corner. And for Chichi to be successful, this is what he has to do. Keep the ball right in there, try to hit him off the hands, and hope you get a call like he did right there.
Robinson Chirinos sticking that right on the outside corner. Gave the home plate umpire Tony Randazzo a good look at it. So a very big strikeout for the first out. Now here's Brian Dozier. Dozier, the power hitting second baseman, takes strike one. Dozier in a bit of an offensive downturn. The average now down to 252. 13 and 41 the home run RBI totals. The Dozier of late 0 for his last 13 times to the plate. Couldn't get him to chase down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last we saw Brian Dozier last Sunday, he was in the middle of a 13-game hitting streak that was snapped on that Sunday.
He was hot.
Yes, he was.
And even with the 0 for 13, you go back a while, his numbers are pretty good. Got off to a fairly slow start.
2-1. Chichi Gonzalez in his third start for the Rangers at the big league level. He pitched the rest of the year down at Round Rock. He went 3-6 at AAA. His ERA just above 5, 5.04. Had 14 starts down there. 2-1. Now 3-1. Chichi working just off the plate and down out of the strike zone. Couldn't get Dozier to offer. He has fallen behind. Dozier hitting fourth. Max Kepler, who wrecked the Rangers Saturday with a couple of home runs, and then on deck circle now. Ball 4. That'll load him up for Kepler. Well, we have a second here. I'd like to show you the Rangers defense. It's delivered to you tonight by Chicken Express. Outfield, Mazzara, Desmond, and Chu, left, center, and right. Profar and Odor on the right side of the diamond. Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre on the left. Robinson Chirinos is catching for Chichi Gonzalez. And Chichi Gonzalez back in hot water in the first inning against the Twins, right where we left him last time that he faced the Twins. Lasted just 2/3 of an inning. Didn't have a couple of plays made behind him that could have gotten him out of that first inning in Minneapolis unscathed. Max Kepler, 6 home runs, 2 of them coming in that ball game last Saturday against the Rangers. He had 7 RBI with a pair of 3-run home runs and driving in another later in the ball game. Strike 1. 7 RBI, a Twins franchise record for a rookie hitter. 5 home runs in his last 16 ball games. So not only is he thumping against the Rangers, he's picking on a lot of folks. Bases full with 1 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. So far, it doesn't look like Chichi has been able to get an off-speed pitch either over the plate or offered at by a Twins hitter.
No, right now he's got to depend on perfect location with his fastball. But all it takes is 1 ground ball, and that's no one needs a ground ball more than he does right now. Get a ground ball, turn a double play, and get back in the dugout.
Little looper out into center field. Elvis going out, makes a running catch. Here comes the runner down from third. Nunez slides and makes it in. Now, it's not very often you see a sacrifice pop up to short, but that's exactly what Max Kepler got. A great play by Elvis, but the Twins are on top 1-0.
Yeah, there's just nothing he can do about that. Elvis has got to go for the ball, and when he does, he's going all out in the wrong direction to make a throw. So even though it's a short throw, it was good instincts by Nunez not to go halfway, but to get back and tag up, because there's no way Elvis can now catch that ball and with his momentum going towards center field, get up and make a strong throw home. And Nunez has very good speed. It wasn't even going to be a play at the plate. But big out for Chichi. Bases loaded and 1 out. Trying to keep this from being a big inning. You know, it's men on first and third with nobody out to start the inning. If you can get out of the inning and only give up 1 run, then that's limiting the damage, and you would take that. But you have to get Grossman right here, keep it from becoming a big inning.
And Robbie Grossman, see the numbers at 281 with a half a dozen home runs and 19 RBI. Robbie Grossman has been a great acquisition for the Twins. He has really performed offensively. First pitch is outside to him. Grossman joined the Twins back on the 20th of May. Since that time, he has put up those offensive numbers. He also leads the major league with 35 walks in that time span. That's 6 weeks worth. Base hit to right field. Mauer coming around third. He will score. The throw goes to third. But in standing is Brian Dozier, and Robbie Grossman makes it a 2-0 Minnesota lead.
Adding 7 to left fielder, number 20, Eddie Rosario.
Grossman drives in his 20th run for the Twins.
That ball had a little bit of movement. Unfortunately, what the movement did was it went from the inside corner to the middle of the plate. Allowed Grossman to get the barrel of the bat on the ball, drive it into right field.
And Jeff Bannister.
Tough love meeting right there.
Yeah. I think explaining the facts of life to the young right-hander Chichi Gonzalez, in that, look, we've had a string of starters have problems, and you were a part of that string, but now we need some length out of you. So we have no one warming in the bullpen. It's up to you to put the clamps on this uprising right here. So first and third with 2 outs, couple of runs across. Eddie Rosario, the left fielder, at the plate. Rosario hitting just 198. 3 home runs and 11 driven in. Rosario, you remember, was called back to the Twins for the final game of that series on Sunday, the 3rd of July. Hit 319 in his month and a half at AAA. Nothing in 2. Twins completing a homestand that saw them go 4-2. They won 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. They won 2 out of 3 from the Oakland A's. Giving a bloody nose to the AL West. Got the offense pretty much back in order in those 6 ball games. But this team this year on the road just 10-28. Paul Molitor's club 22 games out of first place in that American League Central. Cleveland Indians, although cooled off a bit by the Tigers in the last game of that series, still a commanding lead. Got him swinging. Pitch up and in, and Rosario strikes out. 2 runs on 3 hits with 2 left. Half an inning in the books. 2-0 Minnesota. Before they ever come to the plate, and Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers lineup that's come back.
Shin-Soo Choo is back in the lineup in right field leading off. He's had 4 leadoff home runs in the last 12 games. Ian Desmond is second. Adrian Beltre is playing third. He'll bat third. Prince Fielder's the DH and cleanup hitter. Jurickson Profar moves up to 5th in the lineup playing first base. Rougned Odor is at second. Elvis Andrus playing shortstop will bat 7th. Nomar Mazara is in left field. He'll bat 8th, and catching 5 for his last 13 with a couple of home runs is Robinson Chirinos.
Shin-Soo Choo driving the first pitch he sees to right center, but over quickly is Max Kepler to make the catch.
Got jammed just a little bit. Had a good swing in the right trajectory. Just got him off the hands a little bit.
Now Tyler Duffy, the 25-year-old Houstonian out of Rice University. Sinker, curveball, and a changeup. Rangers had some success making Duffy get that pitch, get those pitches up in the strike zone. They were able to do a little damage. Duffy worked 6 innings, gave up 4 runs and 8 hits to the Rangers on Sunday, but the 17 runs of support were more than enough. A 1 out, here's Ian Desmond. 1 ball and no strikes. Desmond, a .320 average. That is a 34th multi-hit game last night in Boston. 2 balls and no strikes. I think I said 34th. It was his 36th. I want to shortchange Ian. And on the outside corner to make it 2-1. Ian went 13 for 42 on the Ranger 10-game trip. That's a .310 average. Pretty much the model of consistency ever since the latter stages of April. Ian got off, you'll remember, to that terrible start. April 19th, he was hitting .109. Not much of a resemblance between that Ian Desmond and what we have seen since. Duffy's 2-1 pitch. 3 balls and a strike. So Ian trying to get aboard here in the first inning. Desmond batting second. Adrian Beltre will follow. Rangers as a team still 6th in the American League, and that'll help the on-base percentage. Desmond draws the 1-out walk. And we'll take a look at the Twins defense behind Tyler Duffy tonight. Eddie Rosario in left, Byron Buxton in center, Max Kepler in right. Bauer and Dozier on the right side of the diamond. Nunez and Sano on the left with Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. And Tyler Duffy on the hill once again. Duffy has won his last 2 games. Starting to turn things around. Tyler Duffy last year had 10 starts with the Twins in his first foray into the big league level. Went 5-1 with an ERA at just over 3. High hopes abounded for the Twins and Tyler Duffy. At maybe sophomore jinx, if you want to call it that, but he's now settling back in to become the kind of pitcher he was last year. Beltre down on the count now, 0-2. Duffy in all conference selection in the Rice Owls. Nothing and 2 to Beltre. Since Adrian came back off the hamstring injury, which was 19 games ago, he has hit .304, despite being just 3 for his last 18. 1-2 now. Pretty much the model of consistency for the Rangers again. The unofficial captain of the ball club. Desmond, a modest lead at first. The pitch hits it. Adrian rubbing his wallet. Man, that got me right in the pocketbook.
That pitch wasn't even close.
Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 84, Prince Fielder.
Watch this reaction.
Take it off.
Got me right there.
That pitch is 3 feet inside.
Oh, man.
They say Rico Cardi used to carry his wallet
Yeah.
in his back pocket, so he would have been hurt a little bit less than Adrian was on that one. I don't think Adrian does.
Prince takes the breaking ball for strike 1. Yeah, I had heard that that was one of the reasons Rico Cardi wouldn't slide into second to break up a double play. He didn't want to
Mess up his money?
bust his wallet loose. Prince, a long home run last night, his 8th of the year. He's now hitting at .219. And that hit him.
Well, this is the rally the Rangers used against the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, Tyler Duffy having a little trouble right now throwing it northwest.
Yeah, he's trying to hit the corner. He better start trying to hit the middle of the plate. The Rangers had 3 hit-by pitches the night in New York where they experienced the 3-hour-plus rain delay. That led to the rally. And hopefully this leads to a rally right here. Boy, if you ever want to take advantage of an opportunity, this is it.
You're right.
2 hit batters and a walk after giving up 2 runs, almost being handed to you the opportunity to get right back in the game here.
And the Rangers have been very good at that. Even when they didn't win the ball game on the road, they still took advantage of what limited opportunities they were given. Scoring runs when errors were made, or they hit by pitches, as you mentioned, Tom, in that New York game.
Yeah, and with their regular starting pitching, there would have been several games they had a good chance to win because they scored enough runs.
Double play grounder. They turn it over, and Profar grounds into the 6-4-3, and that'll do it. So Jurickson up there swinging at the first pitch. Rangers leave a couple after 1, 2-0 Minnesota on Fox Sports Southwest. Show is tomorrow night. Rangers face the Twins again, and fans using the online coupon code FIREWORKS can get upper reserve tickets for just $14 each. You can enjoy Rangers baseball and a post-game fireworks show set to 80s music. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com/specials for this Friday night ball game here, and be sure to catch the Rangers before the All-Star break. Well, the Rangers had pretty much a golden opportunity to slip through their fingers in the bottom of the first. Chichi Gonzalez going to work in the top of the second. Kurt Suzuki leading off. Gonzalez gave up 2 runs on 3 hits and a walk in that first inning. Suzuki having a good year offensively for the Twins. .283 average. He's going to slice out a play down the right side. Suzuki, the veteran backstop. 4 home runs, 27 driven in. McCurt moving up the all-time list of games caught by active catchers. Hits this one deep to left center field. Mazzara is watching this one go. Gone. Kurt Suzuki with his 5th home run of the year. 3-0 Twins.
Yeah, that's a tough turn of events right there. You have the bases loaded and a chance to get back in the game. Double play puts you back out in the field, and then right off the bat, the first hitter hits a fastball right down the middle of the plate, center square, drives it out of the ballpark. You go from having a chance to score a bunch of runs to giving one up and not getting any.
first ball swinging. Byron Buxton pops it up. Wynn playing tricks. Chirinos off of the mask makes the catch. Not an easy play for Robinson. He stayed with it nicely. He's looking around saying, what in the world is that doing up there? Flag's blowing straight in from right field at about 20 miles an hour. And we know what the wind does. It hits the stands, kicks it back out. So Chirinos battling the effects of those wind currents. A 1 out, now back to the top of the Twins order. Eduardo Nunez doubled and scored as he led the ball game off tonight. And 1 hit for Nunez, raising the average up to 318. A ball and a strike. Nunez, the Twins team leader in most non-home run categories this year, although he's sneaking up on home runs too with 11 of them. Pops this one up into center field. And Desmond camped underneath, makes the grab. 2 gone. Chichi trying to rebound from that leadoff Suzuki home run. It's 2 outs. Now we'll face Joe Mauer. Mauer had a single to left field in the first inning. Came around and scored the second of the 2 runs put on the board by Minnesota. 0-1. That will even the count. Home runs for Chichi Gonzalez had not been much of a problem. He'd only given up 3 in his 14 starts at AAA this year. And the home run to Suzuki, the first that he'd given up in the 3 starts that he had with the Rangers. This is 3rd career outing against Minnesota. And he's falling behind now, 3 balls and a strike. So Mauer hitting second. Miguel Sano, the big third baseman, is in the on-deck circle. Three and 2. Mauer back in. Gonzalez to the wind. Payoff pitch. Lost him. Second walk of the game issued by Chichi Gonzalez. Had to bring up Miguel Sano.
Third baseman Miguel Sano.
Well, Tom was telling you that Chichi doesn't walk, or I should say doesn't strike out many. Coming into the game tonight, in his career, Chichi had 36 walks and 32 strikeouts. That's a little bit unusual. Only 4 other pitchers in Rangers franchise history have had less than 1 strikeout per walk. You got to go back a bit to find those guys. Clyde Wright, Steve Dunning, Ryan Glenn, the first 3 with that ignominious stat. Base hit to left field by Sano. Mauer checking in at second as Mazara gets the ball back in. 2 on with 2 out. And Brian Dozier will be next.
Second baseman Brian Dozier.
Sano didn't hit that ball all that hard. Hit toward the end of the bat. Made some contact, found a hole with it.
The Twins now 3 runs on 5 hits and a couple of walks. They have runners at second and first. Brian Dozier drew a walk in the first. One ball and no strikes.
Yeah, even with Dozier's 0 for 13 in the last 6 weeks, his OPS is over 1,000. So he has picked it up, slowed down a little bit the last few games. But he's a guy that's made an all-star team before. Good solid player. Maybe not a cleanup hitter, but he's got speed, power. Turned into a solid big league player.
Yeah, and Twins fans have really taken to his style of play, that kind of blue-collar worker that.
That appeals to them.
Yeah, sure does. They don't need to have the flash and the gaudy numbers. He's up there now with Mauer at second and Sano at first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robinson Chirinos going to take a second to shake off the effects of that foul tip. So you want to be a big league catcher, huh?
Yeah, Robinson has had problems in the past with concussion-like symptoms. And that was a straight shot to the head.
You know, wearing that hockey goalie mask, a lot of catchers have gone to that to try to negate the effects of a direct shot like that, but I'm not sure there's anything on this earth that's going to do that. Oh, 1 and 2 is Chichi ready to work. Base hit to right field. Mauer, who doesn't run well, coming around third. Chu hesitated. Now he throws into second. Mauer scores. Sano back in. The throw was high. It's a 4-0 Minnesota lead. And the skipper not pleased with what's happening here.
Well, he's in a helpless position because he's been in this position pretty much off and on for the last couple of weeks with starting pitching, not being able to get deep into a ball game. The bullpen overtaxed, and so you've got a no-win situation. You want to get someone new in the ball game, but because you don't have enough fresh arms, you're forced to leave the pitcher in to get you as far into the game as you can. It's just got to be a helpless feeling for a manager right now. There's no one warming up in the bullpen because the only long man out there is Cesar Ramos, and he's been going out there quite a bit. Jose Leclerc threw 50 pitches yesterday. He's not available today. Tony Barnett pitched yesterday. He's available today. But after that, the only guys that are available are Cesar Ramos, who has pitched a lot. You don't want to bring him in this early in the game in case he can only go a couple innings. Are the guys that you're saving to protect the lead late in the ball game. You don't want to have to use those guys if the game gets out of hand.
Yep.
So, you know, you pretty much go out there and deliver the message to Chichi that the next few innings are yours. Figure out a way to get these guys out.
0-1 the count to Kepler. Right at Odor.
That's one way to figure it out. Make him hit it at somebody.
Throws on to first. That'll do it. Another run, another couple of runs for the Twins. They strand 2 after 1.5. 4-0 Minnesota. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. The Rangers now down by 4 as Rougned Odor starts things off against Tyler Duffy. It'll be Odor, Andrus, and Mazara. Rougned, 267. He is the team leader with 16 home runs. Rougned with 43 driven in. Rangers bringing in that streak to play here tonight of having homered in 17 consecutive ball games. And the shift now, the 0-2 count. We're talking about the Twins doing that in the series up at Target Field, making adjustments when they got to a 2-strike count on virtually every left-handed hitter. What they did here is they took Sano and moved him over to the first base side of second and left Nunez, the shortstop, in his normal position.
Yeah, again, I think the feeling is with 2 strikes, you're less likely to pull the ball, more likely to try to make contact. And so they want the better fielder at shortstop rather than at second base.
It would seem if that were the case that it would make more sense just to go back to a normal alignment where you have 2 and 2. But I guess not.
Yeah, all I can say, Buzz, is they have the data that tells them this is the right way to do it.
Yeah. Well, Paul Molitor, a pretty good infielder in his own right during his Hall of Fame career. Another 1-2 pitch. That will even the count. Odor on the just completed road trip hit just .233, but he had 7 RBI in those 10 games, along with 3 home runs. So production has not been a problem for the Rangers second baseman. Just able to stay alive as Duffy throwing that good breaking curveball in there. Duffy had an unusual streak in the first inning. He walked Desmond, then hit both Adrian Beltre and Prince Fielder. And with the bases full and just 1 out, Profar went up swinging at the first pitch and grounded into a double play. Another foul ball by Odor. Looking at Tyler Duffy, we'll tell you about the Kubota Power Stats, talking about the starting rotation for the Twins. The last 6 starts, they've gone 4-1 with a .270 ERA. Opponents hitting just .190 against them. And Irvin Santana, I'm sure most of you know, threw that 2-hit shutout, a complete game in yesterday's game against the Oakland A's.
You know, Buzz, there was a time earlier in the season where the starting pitching was healthy, and it seemed like more often than not in the pregame show and the open to the show, we were talking about stats like that with the starting pitching. How many games in a row they'd had at least 6 innings pitched. How their ERA over the last 2 weeks stacked up against the rest of the American League. And it was always very favorable. One of the main reasons the Rangers were so productive for the first couple of months of the season was they had healthy starting pitching. And to a man, they were all throwing the ball extremely well. So now they're trying to weather the storm with several starters hurt, get through the All-Star break, hope to get some back, and in the meantime figure out a way to start pitching deeper into ball games with the guys that are here now.
Tapper off the glove of Duffy. It's going to be a tough play. Odor limping down to first, able to beat out any potential throw. Rougned still favoring that right foot. Fouled it off, and here's why. He was not real quick getting down that line. That's a pitch that fouled right off of his shin.
Yeah, thank goodness he had that guard on his shin. But it still caused significant pain. And he's running through the pain right there. But as he tried to decelerate after he got through the bag, you could see that he was very much favoring it.
No, that's the first Ranger hit of the night. Odor with an infield tapper. One on, nobody out. Elvis Andrus will come up. Elvis steps in hitting at .286 for the year. Elvis in a streak now where he has reached base safely in 7 straight ball games. He's had 4 doubles over those 7 games, and he's hit .318. Overall, 3 home runs, 37 driven in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Rangers, including the 3 games in Boston and the last 2 in Minnesota, hit .299 in those 5 games. Went 2-3 despite hitting almost .300. Of course, they gave up 17 to the Twins in that Saturday game. They gave up 11 to Boston last night.
Yeah, you get beat 17-5 and 11-6. You feel like it was just a hopeless offensive effort, but the fact is, if you get your normal starting pitching, scoring 5 and 6 runs is going to win you a whole lot of ball games.
Yeah, sure is. Elvis gone swinging at that high fastball.
Batting the left fielder, number 30, Nomar Mazara.
No, first strikeout for Duffy tonight. 1 out now with Odor at first. Nomar Mazara will step in. Mazara now with the average at .287. Spent about 3.5 weeks in the offensive doldrums, but he's starting to come back out of it now. He's hit safely in 11 of the last 12 ball games, but he's only had 12 hits over that streak. But at least it's kind of trending the proper way for him. Sure, you can hear the wind whistling through the microphones at home. Breezy night, warm, slightly humid. 94 degrees as we play here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 2 balls, no strikes. Nomar called up to the big leagues when Shin-Soo Choo had to go on the disabled list back on April the 10th. Made his major league debut with a 3-hit afternoon out in Anaheim. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, we've seen a lot of teams against Nomar put on a fairly severe shift. Twins, with a man on first base anyway, are playing it much more straight up. Definitely up the middle they are. Third baseman's way over and back. But a little bit different than the Red Sox were playing.
They might have looked at that tape from yesterday when Nomar
hit the 2 ground.
Well,
I'm sure they had an advanced scout there,
yeah.
and that's part of their advanced report that they got. And here's the result. They're not playing the same way defensively that the Sox were.
Change up outside. It's 3-1. Mazara able to lay off that. So Nomar trying to get aboard to join Rougned Odor. Robinson Chirinos, the number 9 man of the order, will follow. Duffy okays the sign, a check of first. And he lost him. Ball 4 puts 2 men aboard.
And Duffy's doing whatever he can to help the Rangers get back in the game. Now it's just a matter of getting that big hit.
Batting ninth, the pitcher, number 61, Robinson Chirinos.
I think if Jurickson had to go back to the first inning again after a walk and 2 hit batters, he might have been a little bit more patient after first ball hitting. I think in that situation you have to say to yourself, okay, he's just walked a guy and hit 2 guys. Unless this is a pitch that I can take my best swing at, I'm going to take the pitch. And it turned out to be a pitch that all he could do is kind of reach for it and tap to shortstop. I think he'd go back and do that a little differently if he had the chance to.
Chirinos takes the slow curveball in for strike 1. Now Robinson had .215 for the season, 6 home runs, and 15 RBI. Had the big 3-run home run on Tuesday night against Craig Kimbrell in that 9th inning. Pitch gets away from Suzuki. Odor, a good jump. Mazara behind him. They advance 90 feet.
Well, we've remarked about this type of a play all season long. When that ball goes in the dirt, the Rangers don't wait to see what happened. It goes in the dirt and they take off. And now you've got 2 men in scoring position and no double play in order.
And that caromed at an angle where Odor could read it pretty quickly as he was taking off. Saw the exact distance between Suzuki and the ball rolling away from him. So 2nd and 3rd now. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Now 1-2. Chirinos went 6 for 22 on the just completed road trip. Odd thing for Robinson this year, all 6 of his home runs have been on the road. This is for a team that the Rangers that hit extremely well in this ballpark. Got him swinging. Up and away, Chirinos. Down on strikes, 2 away. Shin-Soo Choo will be next.
Right fielder Shin-Soo Choo.
Well, both of Duffy's strikeouts have come in this frame. Here's Choo, who hit the first pitch from Duffy to right center field, and Max Kepler made a nice running catch.
Well, Suzuki's going to earn his paycheck tonight.
Yep.
Get a chance to move around, block balls. Duffy's been all over the place, but he's made the pitches when he's had to make them. The Rangers have had the base runners, had him in scoring position, but as of yet, they're lacking that one thing, the base hit.
Duffy with 37 pitches under his belt leans in for the sign. Outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Choo brings in a 4-game hitting streak tonight. See the infield shaded a couple of steps to the right for him. 2-1. Choo in his last 13 ball games has been a .327 hitter. And just as importantly, has driven in 8 runs in those 13 games with 6 home runs. 3 of them leading off ball games. Foul ball makes it 2-2 now. The Rangers still with the best record in the American League, despite losing 6 out of 10 on the road trip. 53-33 the record. Choo was not letting that fastball get inside on him. He ripped it foul. Now Tyler Duffy has Rougned Odor at 3rd base. Nomar Mazara at 2nd. Shin-Soo Choo at the plate. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. The appeal down to 3rd base umpire Brian Knight, who rings him up, and that'll do it for the Rangers. No runs, a hit, 2 left. And after 2, as you look at this check swing appeal that ended up being strike 3. We'll go to the 3rd, 4-0 Minnesota. 0-0 Minnesota as the Twins come at bat here in the top of the third inning. Robbie Grossman, Eddie Rosario, and Kurt Suzuki, the first three to do the swinging against Chichi Gonzalez. And Grossman skies out to fairly deep left center field. That is out number one. Eddie Rosario coming up. We're going to say hello to Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, in honor of today being the 7th day of the 7th month, the Texas Rangers and Papa John's have teamed up to bring you an awesome offer. Just head to TexasRangers.com/777 to get $7 tickets for the August 31st game against the Mariners. That's TexasRangers.com/777, then enter the online coupon code 777. Also, too, as a bonus, Papa John's has activated Rangers 7 today. Hopefully it will be because the Rangers have scored 7 runs by the end of this game. Visit papajohns.com and use the coupon code Rangers7 for 50% off your purchase in select areas. Are you catching up on something here? Sevens.
Sevens?
Sevens are the numbers.
A lot
and
of sevens.
I'm going to predict that the Rangers will score 7 runs in this game.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
Please do.
You're going to pick up the tab for the Papa John's after that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
With joy in my heart, I will do it.
A 1-2 strikes the count to Eddie Rosario. Now 2-2. Rosario struck out the first time that he faced Chichi Gonzalez tonight. The only, I should say, one of the 2 strikeouts that Gonzalez has. Chichi has allowed the 4 runs on 6 hits. Ball squirted foul to the right. Rosario the start in left field. Batting 7th in Paul Molitor's order tonight. On the fist, up the middle, and off the glove of Odor into center field. Big turn at first for Rosario. He's going to be aboard with a 1-out single. No, Rosario at first, Kurt Suzuki coming up, and we're going to send it over to John Radigan for a Chevy game break. All right, John, thank you. 7th hit of the night for the Twins. As Rosario aboard with a 1-out safety. Kurt Suzuki, who homered into the Minnesota bullpen his first time up. Jurickson Profar is going to have to change gloves. That's the second time we've seen him take a throw at first base in the last couple of days and have it stick in the webbing.
Yeah, and those aren't hard. If he gets a line shot at about 110 miles an hour, you better tighten those laces up a little bit. Occasionally you'll see a ball get stuck in a webbing. Some of the more famous ones are the hard hit one-hoppers back to the mound where the pitcher has the ball stuck in the webbing of the glove and tosses the glove and the ball to the first baseman. But there's nothing unusual about that throw. That should not happen to your glove on an 80-mile-an-hour throw. You know, where it comes into play is pretty obvious on a one-hopper with a man on first, say first and third and 1 out late in the game. You get a one-hopper, easy chance to turn a double play, and ball gets stuck in your webbing, and all you can do is step on first. So you probably should have someone. Generally, it's the trainer that knows how to work the laces of a glove. I've seen Bill Ziegler, when he used to be the trainer for the Rangers, take the lacings right out of a glove and relace a glove during the game. So I think all that glove needs is to have the laces tightened up a bit so there's not that big a gap in the web.
Fly ball lazily hit out to right field. Shin-Soo Choo. That is out number 2. Rosario back to first. It'll bring up Byron Buxton. Well, Buxton, top prospect for the last couple of years in the Twins organization. Getting the opportunity to play on an everyday basis now, and his average currently at 209. home run, 11 driven in.
Well, if you were drafting athletes, he'd be right at the top of the list. We had a great chance in Minnesota to watch him roam after balls in center field and run the bases. And he is tall, agile, graceful, and he can fly.
That he can. Now Chichi, let her high set. 2 balls, no strikes.
If you wanted to look at the Ranger farm system for a player who resembles this type of a player, it'd probably be Lewis Brinson, who we had a chance to see in spring training. A center fielder as well. May not have quite the same speed Buxton has, but he's a terrific athlete in his own right.
2-0. Pop foul back.
But with athletes, it's great to be that kind of an athlete, and it'll keep you in the big leagues because it gives you an opportunity to play defense, run the bases, but ultimately to become a frontline big league player, you have to hit. It doesn't matter what kind of athlete you are, and that's Buxton's challenge. Still very young and has the tools to become a very good hitter.
Well, if you believe Baseball American, they've been in the business of evaluating organizations for quite a while. I do too. They voted Byron Buxton as being the best hitter for average, the fastest base runner, the best athlete, the best defensive outfielder, and the best outfield arm in the Twins organization.
Well, that's pretty good. That adds up to an all-star right there.
Sure does.
And I think some of those categories, if you measured every young player in baseball, he'd come out near the top. When you look at the ability to play center field, run, and throw, I can't imagine there's too many guys better than he is.
Yep. But you're right. It does come back down to can he hit enough to use all those abilities?
Well, he got sent down to AAA this year after a slow start. He hit .336 in over 100 at bats. So he has done it at the highest levels of the minor leagues.
High in the air, slicing into the corner, and that's going to go foul. Chu over to have a look at it, but it's well back out of play. So that fills the count. And with 2 outs now, Dave Rosario, the runner at first, will get a head start. Chichi Gonzalez, 63 pitches this evening.
If there's one thing, Buzz, that you learn about any type of prospect, but even top prospects, they all develop at their own pace. There are guys like Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey, and to a certain degree Nomar Mazara, who come up at a very young age and are accomplished right off the bat, different levels of accomplishment. And there's guys that don't do it until their mid-20s, late 20s. You never know.
Well, one prospect to another prospect. Mazara takes care of Buxton. Fly ball. No runs, a hit, 1 left after 2.5. Twins leading the Rangers 4-0. Well, before we go to the bottom of the third, we're going to take a look at tonight's Lowe's home field advantage. How about Ian Desmond? At home this season, Ian has been at home. 378 average, the tops in the American League. A 10-15 on base plus slugging, that's 6th in the league, and 8 home runs and 31 RBI at Globe Life Park. Ian Arlington, that's pretty much being comfortable at home. And that man leading things off, Ian Desmond. 1 ball, no strikes. Desmond walked in the first inning. Got as far as third. Rangers, though, couldn't bring him across home plate. One ball, 1 strike. Desmond now has been hitting second in the batting order for the better part of 2 months. His average as the number 2 man, hovering right around 360. Up among the league leaders in a lot of offensive categories that help the Rangers at the top of the order. He's 4th in hits, 5th in stolen bases when he gets on. He is 6th in runs scored, 9th in total bases, 9th in on-base percentage. All of that after hitting a .9 in his first 3.5 weeks. Way outside, 3-1. So Desmond bidding to get aboard to start the Ranger third. Adrian Beltre will be next. Rangers have had just 1 base hit, but they've had a lot of base runners. A couple of walks, a couple of hit by pitches, and now add 1 more walk to it as Desmond the free pass for his 2nd time tonight. He is aboard. Adrian Beltre coming up, and we are going to check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Buzz, what a crowd tonight. You know, we have about 450 Little League teams on hand, including the New Orleans Hurricanes, because there's a big tournament in town. What's the name of the tournament, Coach?
USSSA World Series.
All right, well, good to have you guys out here. Have a good time. Cheer for those Rangers, all right? And, Buzz, I got to show you this. One of the umpires on hand. Look at this guy, about a 6'10" umpire. Are you kidding me? I don't think anybody's going to be arguing calls tomorrow. Not you, Coach. I know that. Look at this guy, huh? Steve Reich. There we go. Good to have you guys out. Appreciate it. Thanks.
He's going to have to lie down to see the bottom of the strike zone.
Yeah. Get down on 1 knee.
Awesome.
Adrian takes the pitch low. Now Suzuki going to go out and have a chat with Tyler Duffy, who again has lost the strike zone. He did it in the first inning. He walked Ian Desmond with 1 out. He hit Beltre with a 1-2 pitch. On the next pitch, he hit Prince Fielder. And Suzuki not wanting a repeat, so he's going to have a chat with his 25-year-old right-hander. Meanwhile, Beltre waiting. Adrian now has reached base either by a hit, a walk, or a hit by pitch in 31 of the last 34 ball games. Duffy right down the middle. It is 2-1. Adrian checking with Spike Owen, the Ranger third base coach. Rangers have had a couple of opportunities, just have not been able to get the offense in gear. And Duffy trying to help him out. 3 balls and a strike. Beltre, the number 3 hitter, to be followed by Prince Fielder. Nice crowd on hand this Thursday night. Looks to be in the neighborhood of 40, 41,000. Great summer's evening for baseball. And ball 4, there are 2 on for Prince. So back-to-back walks, 4 walks in the ball game.
Duffy has walked 4, hit 2 in essentially 2 innings. And the Rangers haven't been able to score yet because all he's given up is 1 infield hit. Sooner or later, someone's going to launch one and get the Rangers right back in this game.
Well, I think this guy's
I think it might as well be Prince.
Good candidate for it, Tom. I agree with you. He launched one last night off Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer. 0-1. And our Ford leaderboard. How about all-time home runs? His home run last night, Prince Fielder tied his father Cecil with 319 career. They are tied for 116th place on that all-time list. I guess hitting home runs in their DNA, apparently. Equally. 0-2. Let's go down to Emily Jones.
Well, I talked to Prince last night about that aspect of his home run, what it did for him as far as tying him with his dad all time on the home run list. He said he had absolutely no idea, but he kind of sat there for a second. He was like, oh, really? That's cool. And did think it was a neat thing, but it definitely was not on his radar.
2 balls, 2 strikes. I just can't see Prince having that kind of statistic in his mind. I don't know. Unless his dad brought it up, and he might have.
He'd like to pass him right here, I would think.
Yeah. He's going to have to wait 1 at bat as he goes down swinging. 1 out.
Give him a couple of change-ups in that at bat. He got 2 swings and misses. One tailing probably a little bit out of the strike zone.
No, 3rd strikeout for Duffy. I think that is 4th strikeout. Struck out the side last inning. Profar grounded into a double play in the 1st. Takes the first pitch here for ball 1. Erickson with runners in scoring position at a 476 mark.
A couple of those hits came as a pinch hitter in key situations, too.
There's the changeup that floats in.
Be a little more patient in this at-bat. Get a look at him, get a feel for him.
I would imagine he had a discussion with 1 or 2 people about that other bat.
I think so, too.
And not being chastised, just saying, look, this is what the situation was, and here's something you might keep in mind next time that comes up.
And he came up and down 2 runs, bases loaded, just a little over anxious.
Sure.
Any hitter's going to be like that, especially a young one. You want to come up there and get the hit that gets you right back in the game. He just kind of played into the pitcher's hand to a certain degree.
Well, 2-1 the count here is Tyler Duffy trying to escape a little more self-imposed trouble. Hit hard but pulled foul.
Duffy using the changeup quite a bit after he walked a couple of hitters.
Nice to see all the Ranger red and blue out here.
That's nice.
Globe Life Park. Catch and release. Young man doesn't know whether to put the hot dog down and look at the ball closely, or it's kind of tough. That one squirted the other way, foul.
They waited on that off-speed pitch.
Still 2-2. Hey, if you're the Rangers, you would kind of like to get a couple runs across here. Get off that 0 on the scoreboard. Desmond out there at second, Beltre at first. Very high. Suzuki having to bounce up out of that crouch to corral that one.
You know, occasionally, Buzz, you'll hear people make the comment he was effectively wild, and you'd have to say that about Duffy today. The Rangers only have 1 infield hit. He's hit a couple of batters. He's thrown pitches like that have been way out of the strike zone. But at this stage of the game, he's still made enough pitches to keep the Rangers off the board.
Now, you managed. How did you feel about a guy who was effectively wild for you as a manager? Call, strike 3. Profar headed to first, and he's going to make a right turn.
That pitch looked like it broke toward the strike zone, but never quite got there. This is a very difficult pitch for a hitter. It looks outside all the way. It's coming back toward the strike zone. It never quite gets there. And there's never a point while that ball is curving that you feel like it's close enough to swing at it. So you feel like you've waited it out for the walk, only to have it called a strike.
No, back-to-back walks to open the inning, back-to-back strikeouts.
I think as a manager,
Hard hit, but the shortstop Nunez takes it to second. That'll do it. Rangers, another opportunity by the boards. 2 men left after 3, 4-0 in favor of the Twins. Hamels takes the mound this season. Section 9 becomes Hamels Heroes. And everyone purchasing a ticket in the Hamels Heroes section receives a t-shirt and a K card. Visit TexasRangers.com/Hamels to purchase your tickets for tomorrow. Cole's taking the mound against these Minnesota Twins. Chichi Gonzalez back to the hill. And is facing Eduardo Nunez for the 3rd time tonight. Nunez has doubled and flied to center. And now he's added a single to it as he begins the 4th inning. On base again.
He keeps getting his hits. 9th in the league in batting coming into the game.
First baseman Joe
An all-star player. He's got a couple of hits in this ball game. He's got to be pumped up about making the all-star game. Here's a kid, 29 years old, who's never really been a regular. He had a couple of seasons with the Yankees where he had 300 at bats. But he's getting an opportunity this year to play every day, and he's cashing in.
Well, that is the 8th base hit for the Twins tonight in 3 innings plus 1 hitter. Joe Mauer has a single and a walk. Mauer has scored both times that he has been on base tonight. The average for Mauer at .270. Rangers play him just about straight away. Adrian Beltre at third, about 20 feet off the line or so. Strike one. Good look at the Ranger defensive alignment. Rugnet and Elvis up a couple of steps in at double play depth. Ian Desmond maybe 3 steps over to left center field. The 0-1 pitch coming. 0-2. Next pitch for tonight will be Chichi Gonzalez, 70th of the evening. Had to work overtime in both the 1st and 2nd innings tonight. Chichi, with good reason, concerned about Nunez at first. Up the middle, off the bat of Mauer into center field. Nunez pulls into second. The throw behind him by Desmond. Odor slapping the tag on him, not quite in time. You got to be careful if you're running the bases and Ian Desmond's out there. Not only does he get to the ball quickly, he gets rid of it quickly, like a shortstop does.
Well, it's kind of another inning where Chichi is getting the ground balls, but they're finding holes. Close, but easily safe back to second. Chichi needs one of those ground balls to go right at somebody and get a double play.
Nunez at second, Mauer at first. Miguel Sano, who is singled and struck out tonight, will step in. Sano a .234 average as he rips one foul down the third base line. Now, we've seen Sano in the last 2 years hit some balls unbelievably far. Home run he hit over the weekend or last weekend in Minnesota. That thing had to go 300 feet in the air. I mean, it just kept going up and up and up and went in the second deck in left field. High and tight, almost didn't get out of the way. 1-1. Sano last year, his rookie year, only played in 80 ball games, had 18 home runs. Two balls and a strike. Sano now has hit in his last 3 ball games. You can see with runners in scoring position, Sano a little bit better than his overall average. He's got Nunez at second, Mauer at first. Two and two.
Well, he's been able to get the ball in to Sano, and a couple of times he's gotten a call on pitches that might have been a little bit off the plate, but he struck him out with a couple of men on in the first inning. See if he can seeing if he can do it again here in the fourth, and that appears to be his best shot. Keep pounding the ball in there.
Yeah, as long as you don't make the mistake of letting it drift back out over the plate, I think you're okay. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did.
Well, he kept doing it.
Yep. Adam Amari down there at first rang up that right fist, and Sano is gone. Strikeout number 3 for Chichi.
Second baseman Brian Dozier.
Definitely went. He definitely kept it in off the plate where he couldn't do anything with it.
Well, that's the first out. It brings up Brian Dozier. Dozier has walked and singled. He drove in his 42nd run of the year with his base hit in the second. Off speed and catches the upper reaches of the strike zone. 0-1. Dozier's second inning single snapped that 0 for 13 that he had been in. Pitch almost got him. Fastball working its way in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dozier last year led all second basemen in home runs. He had 28. Scored 101 runs. That was the most by a second baseman. Second in RBI was 77. Pickoff play at second, and Nunez just back under the tag. Quick footwork and an accurate throw. See Rudad right behind the bag at second. Two balls and a strike. Gonzalez checks Nunez. 3-1. Well, Chichi now working himself into another hole against a middle of the order hitter. You got Dozier hitting fourth. Max Kepler will be next in the order. Rip foul to left. 3-2. On this warm night, Chichi Gonzalez getting a full load of work in less than 4 innings. He's already thrown 80 pitches, 49 strikes, 31 balls. Beautiful blue skies overhead as the twilight is descending on Globe Life Park. The 3-2 pitch coming to Dozier. Lost him. That'll load him up. And it'll bring up Kepler. Third walk issued by Gonzalez. A trip from Robinson Chirinos to try and calm down the right-hander. Well, Max Kepler in a similar situation in the first inning. Had bases loaded and 1 out. Ended up having a sacrifice pop-up to Elvis Andrus. Here's the breakdown we were talking about. 41 pitches, 49 strikes, or 81 pitches, 49 strikes. Kepler now 27 RBI, 0 for 1 officially. Nothing and 1. Max Kepler, the young man, was born in Berlin, Germany. His parents were ballet performers. He grew up playing soccer and tennis and virtually everything but baseball.
Yeah, I'm voting the scout that signed Max Kepler as a candidate for Scout of the Year.
Yeah.
If you find a very promising big league player in the big leagues from Germany, you had to do a pretty good job.
1-2. Yeah, I would think the travel expense that you turned in might be a little exorbitant, but that's okay. This season with runners in scoring position, Kepler has hit a lofty 286. Got the bases full of twin teammates. 1 out here in the 4th. 2-2.
That side of the plate today seems to be the best side of the plate to get a call. Seen a couple of calls on Sano. Saw the call on Profar. So it appears Chichi's trying to do the right thing by keeping the ball out there.
All right, Fox Tracker showing you a pretty good grouping of the 4 pitches. Now Chichi from a stretch once again. Foul ball. Kepler, along with his sacrifice pop-up, got a ground ball to second. Got Nunez at third, Mauer at second, Dozier at first. Ranger infield at double play depth. Profar at first, the only infielder up even with the bag. Another foul ball. Gonzalez with a new baseball, working that gum over, peering in for the sign. In tight. 3-2.
It just appears like you're less likely to get a call on that side of the plate. That ball looked like it was an inch or so off the plate.
So full count. Kepler batting fifth. Robbie Grossman, the DH, next in the order. Payoff pitch from Gonzalez. We'll come back and try it one more time. A long tussle here between Max Kepler and Chichi Gonzalez. 3-2 with one out. Bases full. No place to put Kepler. Probably didn't like all that head shaking. Go out there and see what in the world's going on. Now Chirinos has his say. He's back down behind home plate. Another foul ball. That looked like the curveball that Chichi's been featuring lately. Slamming that ball into the glove angrily. 91st pitch of the night for the right-hander. Out of play. That was the 10th pitch of this at bat. Gonzalez with pitch number 11. Got him swinging.
Well, he kept battling him and finally got him. Made a pitch. A 91-mile-an-hour sinker. And Kepler spoiled a lot of them, but couldn't make contact with that one. So that's a big strikeout with the bases loaded. That was a good sinker out of the strike zone. He did everything he could to keep from throwing him a good pitch to hit that at bat. He fortunately got him to swing at a lot of them.
No, two away. Bases still loaded. Here's Robbie Grossman, who had an RBI single in the first.
Grossman is less likely to swing at those pitches out of the strike zone. He's walked 35 times. Hasn't been here all year either. His on base percentage is .420.
Grossman, the switch hitter, up there from the left side. Takes ball two.
Throw him a strike.
Grossman singled in the first inning, drove in his 20th run as a member of the Twins. Chichi trying to keep the Twins off the board here in the fourth. And he misses outside. 3-0. And Doug Brocail, a quick call down to the bullpen. That's going to get some folks stirring out there in right center field. 95 pitches now for Chichi Gonzalez. 3 balls, no strikes to Grossman. 3-1. Grossman, who started the year in Cleveland Indians organization, took an opt-out of his clause and signed a minor league deal with the Twins. He swings through that pitch. The count is full.
That's the same pitch that Kepler struck out on. Starts out as a strike, sinks out of the strike zone, and he did get Grossman to chase that. Grossman a little over anxious on the 3-1 pitch. Trying to make that same pitch again.
Well, this big crowd trying to get behind Chichi Gonzalez. Check swing, call, strike 3.
That's the side of the plate to get the call.
Got him looking, and Chichi Gonzalez, after loading the bases, gets strikeouts of Kepler and Grossman. And the Twins leave them full. We have played 3.5 here at Globe Life Park. The Twins 4, the Rangers nothing. Of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll keep with the All-Star theme. How about the 2016 Home Run Derby? Here's how it's going to stack up. Mark Trumbo and Corey Seager will match up in that first round. Robinson Cano and Giancarlo Stanton. Into the other bracket, Adam Duvall and Will Myers will face off. Todd Frazier takes on Carlos Gonzalez.
Todd Frazier's not on the All-Star team. He's only hitting about 220, but he's hit a bunch of home runs, and he won that last year. So I guess the defending champ gets a chance to defend his title.
Brought him back by popular demand.
Yeah.
His demand. Well, here's Elvis starting things off, and he lines one to right center. That's down for a hit. Over to cut it off, Max Kepler, and Elvis starts things off here in the Ranger fourth with a solid base hit. Well, we'll see if Chichi Gonzalez, working out of a pickle in the top of the fourth, has a carryover for this Ranger offense.
Nice job of hitting by Elvis. Pitched down and on the outside half of the plate anyway. Lined it into right field.
Second Ranger base hit of the night. Nomar Mazara, who drew a walk in the second, steps in. 1 ball and no strikes.
The Rangers have left a couple of men on in each inning. The Twins have left 8 on in 4 innings. So both pitchers having to pitch with a lot of base runners.
And Mazara fouls it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, neither pitcher you could accuse of being pinpoint here tonight.
No, that hadn't come to my mind.
I never did get the answer from you. We look at a great shot of Globe Life Park from out there in center field, right by the Hyundai Club. Beautiful blue sky.
The effectively wild one?
The effectively wild, yeah. As a manager, what would your opinion have been of a guy who was effectively wild for you?
I'd rather have a guy that's effectively precise, if that's what you mean. If effectively wild means he's going to have success, I guess I'd take it. But I don't know if this type of wild leads to long-term success or not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I would think, just looking at Paul Molitor and Jeff Bannister in this ball game, it adds an awful lot of angst to the face of a manager when you see your pitcher out there doing that.
Well, you have to be all over the place like Duffy has been and not give up any runs. You have to be in a position where you haven't given up any hits.
Right.
And so he's done that. Infield hit by Odor and that leadoff single by Elvis are the only hits to go along with 4 walks and 2 hit batters. So I guess that has worked out okay for him, although he's thrown 71 pitches. In Chichi's case, he's walked 3, but he's also given up 9 hits. We mentioned that Chichi hasn't struck out a lot of batters. He's had pretty good success striking out batters tonight, including all 3 in the 4th inning, all 3 outs. He struck out 5 in 4 innings. He's thrown a better strike to ball ratio than Duffy has.
Now Chirinos at the plate, struck out his first time. He's down on the count here, no balls, 2 strikes. Elvis out there at second, getting his lead. Nunez, there's a hop come up about waist high and throws out Chirinos. Both Southwest Airlines and Dallas Love Field invite you to celebrate 45 years of love. Go to southwest.com/RangersLove and enter for your chance to be one of 10 fans who will win 45,000 Rapid Reward points. On that ground ball, Elvis had to stay at second. Brings up Shin-Soo Choo for his 3rd at bat. Choo 0 for 2, a fly ball and a strikeout. Choo, that .267 average, 7 home runs, 16 driven in so far. Good to see him back in the lineup tonight after missing yesterday that sore back that he said he kind of tweaked when he hit the leadoff home run against David Price on Tuesday. Said he kind of grabbed him, low back grabbed when he rounded first base. Said he kind of felt like he was hopping around the rest of the way. That's going to grab too. Grab the right foot, that foul ball. 1-2. Let's see where this foul tip ended up getting him. Ooh.
Above the shoe, side of the leg, it looked like.
Right on Shin-Soo's shin. Ouch. A ball and 2 strikes. Duffy gave him every opportunity to hit himself again with that foul ball, but Choo wasn't biting on it. 2-2. Now Duffy, after a look at second, deals, and Choo rounds to Nunez, who throws him out. That'll do it for the Rangers. Leadoff single to no avail. Elvis left stranded after 4-0 Minnesota. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. Top of the 5th inning, bottom third of the Minnesota order to face Chichi Gonzalez. Eddie Rosario, who's had a single off the glove of Odor and struck out. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that was Chichi's 100th pitch of the night as he's starting off the 5th inning. 61 strikes, 39 balls. Gets that one called on the outside corner. It is 1-2.
Another example of a strike, slightly liberal strike on that side of the plate.
Inning by inning, that 4th inning, 34 pitches.
Yeah, 11 of them, 10 or 11 were to Kepler.
Yeah, 11 of them. Yeah. .34 pitches and not giving up a run. That's doing some work. Some tap dancing also. Another 1-2 pitch. Popped up on the infield. Adrian Beltre for out number 1. Next will be Kurt Suzuki. Chichi, as you can tell, skin color getting about the same color as his uniform top right about now.
That's jabbing a lot of pitches into a short period of time.
Sure is. Suzuki able to lay off that breaking ball. Home run and a fly ball to right for Suzuki against Chichi Gonzalez. And the count goes to 2-0. Chichi, only one other time this year, has thrown this many pitches. That was down at Round Rock and his last outing against Nashville. On the 20th of June, he threw 112 pitches in 7 innings. He gave up 9 hits in those 7 innings in that ballgame. He's given up 9 hits and 4 1/3 here tonight. That is in there, knee high. 3-1. Inside, Suzuki takes the walk. 1 on, 1 out for Byron Buxton. Well, folks, the Rangers face the Twins again this Saturday in the first 7,500 kids 13 and under will be treated to a Shin-Soo Choo tin lunchbox. That's courtesy of Medical City Children's Hospital. Get your tickets for this Saturday by logging on to TexasRangers.com today. 1 on, 1 out. Buxton tonight has fouled out and flied to left field. 0-1. Cesar Ramos, veteran left-hander, loosening in that Ranger bullpen. Rip foul.
Oh, watch out.
Into the commissioner's box down that left field line, just past the Twins dugout. Looks like everybody down there was okay. A little bit of a frightening development, that thing coming at you. Got her in the hand apparently. That's going to be sore tomorrow. It'd be okay right now. 0-2 the count. You got to make sure when you're sitting down here in the first few rows past the dugouts that you follow the Tom Grieve advice of bringing your glove.
Definitely.
And paying attention.
If you've got a glove at home and you're going to be sitting close, bring it. And if you don't know how to use it, give it to someone sitting near you. Maybe they do.
That you trust.
Yeah.
2-2 to Buxton. Gonzalez ready, a check of Suzuki. And a foul back. Now, Chichi's done a remarkably good job considering where he was in the first 2 innings of getting this into the 5th inning. The way things have been going earlier, it didn't look like the 5th tonight was going to be something that Chichi saw in this ball game. Another 2-2. Hit high and deep down the left field line, but it's hooking and goes foul at the pole.
Pitch was a changeup and it was inside, but because it was a changeup, it gave Buxton a chance to get the good part of the bat on it. Tried to keep it fair, kept his hands in, and tries to keep from yanking it foul, but couldn't quite accomplish that. One of the best that I remember doing just that was Juan Gonzalez.
Yep.
He had the ability to hit that pitch fair.
Sure did. Fouled back by Buxton. Yeah, he was as good as pulling his hands in and keeping the bat head back of anybody I can remember.
And hitting it with some long range authority.
Yeah. That one home run that he hit in the playoffs in Yankee Stadium that one year. He did that and hit it. I think he hit in the second deck. And Buxton puts this one in play to fairly deep right, but Chu has a play. Out number 2, back to first goes Suzuki. No 2 gone, back to the top of the order. Eduardo Nunez is Jeff Bannister checking with the Ranger bullpen. Would imagine this is going to be Chichi's last man if he gets the chance to face Nunez. You got the left-handed hitting Joe Mauer next in the batting order, and you have the left-hander Cesar Ramos ostensibly ready out there if needed.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, you might have seen a relief pitcher, but these aren't normal circumstances. There's not a lot of opportunity to use guys in the bullpen tonight. I mean, you don't want the opportunity to have to use some of the guys in the bullpen until it's a closer game late in the game. So Chichi's being pushed to try to get 5 and then get as much out of Cesar Ramos as you can get. You got one guy out there, we mentioned this before too, Jose Leclerc, who's not available tonight. He threw 50 pitches yesterday.
And this Ranger bullpen for the last several weeks have been a 7-man bullpen instead of an 8-man bullpen that they had earlier in the year.
Yeah, I don't have that extra guy.
Change up inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nunez. Eduardo, a single and a double tonight in 3 trips.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for the Ranger front office where you constantly have to assess, along with Jeff Bannister, Doug Brocail, what your pitching situation is. Whoa, Larry, watch out, Larry. That didn't miss him by much.
No.
Where'd that hit, Larry?
Got that pole right next to him.
Whoa. You're constantly trying to assess, do you have enough pitching for the game tomorrow? And while you don't want to have to plan this way, you have to feel comfortable that you got a long man just in case something bad happens with a starter. And so if Cesar Ramos, for instance, throws 50 or 60 pitches tonight, Jose Leclerc probably won't be available tomorrow after 50 pitches yesterday. Now you look at the bullpen and say, do we have a long man? And how will we get through the game? And what's happened the last couple of weeks is frequently you've had to go to the minor leagues and get a fresh arm just to cover that possible situation.
Right.
One thing the Rangers did earlier to avoid that, you just mentioned, Buzz, and that's have 8 guys out in the bullpen, have that extra guy, but they don't have that right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Nunez fouling a few pitches off, waiting. Check swing, the pitch is low. It's now 3-2. So again, with 2 outs, Suzuki at first base now will be off and moving with the next pitch.
Yeah, unless this pitch is fouled off, this will be his last pitch.
Chichi ready. And now time called. Saw Joe Mauer in the on-deck circle.
You know, it's unusual to see 122 pitches, but at the same time, he only threw 38 pitches in his last start, and you've got the All-Star break coming up. Right. So under those circumstances, he's a big, strong kid. He's perfectly capable of throwing that many pitches. Can't go out there and do it time after time after time, but in a game like this where it's required, it's not that big a deal. In the old days, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Right.
Wouldn't even be an issue.
Yep. Well, this is the most pitches that any Ranger starter has thrown this year. Cole Hamels had 113 in 7 innings in his start at Detroit earlier this year. Another 3-2. Inside ball 4. And that is going to do it for Chichi Gonzalez. So he gives up 2 walks in the inning. He'll leave with 2 men on base. Joe Mauer coming up. Jeff Bannister, a slow walk out to the mound. Something that Jeff wasn't looking forward to, but at least Chichi got him 4 2/3 tonight after it looked like 2 2/3 might be just about it. So Chichi finished, and coming in is Cesar Ramos, the left-hander. While he makes his way in for the bullpen, we'll take a timeout. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Fans will receive a bobblehead of the All-Star pitcher Cole Hamels as courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. Get your last chance to see the Rangers before the All-Star break, so visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS to purchase your tickets for the Twins-Rangers game this Sunday. Now the 31-year-old left-hander Cesar Ramos now on for his 15th appearance of the year. Ramos inherits runners at first and second with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Cesar a 5.44 ERA and opponent's batting average of .312. Chichi Gonzalez finished after 4 2/3 tonight. 9 hits, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. 4 runs on his ledger, and the 2 base runners on board his responsibility. Here's Joe Mauer, who is 2 for 2 with a walk as he takes the first pitch, strike 1 from Ramos. Mauer singled and scored in the 1st inning, walked and scored in the 2nd, and singled again in the 4th. Got Kurt Suzuki out at second base, Eduardo Nunez at first. Chirinos bluffing a throw to second, but Suzuki was the only one there. He wasn't going to catch it. Nothing and 2 the count. field softly to the right side. Ramos has to cover because Profar went after the ball. So it goes 4-1 on the putout, and Ramos strands a couple. We played half the ball game. Twins 4, Rangers nothing.
Score of 4-0 as we head to the bottom of the fifth here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and pleased to be joined by a member of the U.S. fencing team headed to the Olympics. It is Garrick Meinhardt. Garrick, your third Olympics, which seems crazy because you look about 25. What's the experience like to be an Olympian?
Yeah, it's amazing being there with other world-class athletes, obviously seeing some of the role models that I've looked up to in other sports. I'm really excited to be going back.
Okay, third time's the charm?
Definitely. Our team has a really great chance at a medal. We're excited to represent the U.S. and hope to bring back some hardware.
Okay, so you are from San Francisco, but the team is here right now in North Texas. For what reason?
Yeah, so we're having our last real training camp together. Some of my teammates are from New York, across the country, so we're all getting together, trying to fine-tune things before we head out to Rio.
Okay, so you hear all the news about Rio. Is there any nervousness on your part or within the team? How are you guys handling that as Olympians?
No, we're not nervous at all. We're doing what we can. We're here, we're training, we're excited to get out there, and we're just focused on the event, and we're really excited to get there.
Okay, I learned something sitting by you for the last couple of minutes, that there's different weapons in fencing. How many are there? 4?
No, there are 3. There's foil, épée, saber. I fence foil. All of them have different target areas, so where in the body you can score, and then also different rules about who gets the touch in certain cases. It's a little complicated.
It is very complicated, and I need to know, are they sharp? Like, this is really what I want to know.
Yeah, thankfully they're pretty safe. There's a little point on the end. It can hurt, you'll get some bruises, but nothing life-threatening.
No bleeding is involved?
No, thankfully not.
All right, well, I'm glad to know that. Very good luck to you, Mr. Garrick Meinhardt, Olympic representation, or not, he's an Olympian. He represents the U.S. fencing team. Bless my heart. Back to you guys.
All right, Eb, thank you.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was.
You could spit it out.
Sure you could.
Well, the most important part were the questions in the interview, and that was great. You just tell by the look on his face how happy he was to be going back to the Olympics.
Well, Rangers and Ian Desmond lead off, and he, as you saw, struck out. Adrian Beltre out there. Beltre has been aboard both times tonight. He's been hit by a pitch and walked.
I'm watching him down near the dugout walk out, and he's getting a chance to shake hands and meet Pudge.
Fly ball to right, 2 gone. Prince Fielder coming up. You understand from our gurus down in the truck, the production gurus, that the Americans have never won a medal in fencing, a gold medal. gold medal in fencing. About time to break that drought.
Now that we've met one of them and have a vested interest in it, I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Hope they do bring home one this year.
Prince takes a strike. It's 1-1. Fielder tonight hit by a pitch and struck out his last time up. Rangers just 2 hits in the first 4 2/3 against Duffy. 1-2.
Yeah, Duffy's starting to zero in last couple of innings. He was all over the place with nobody out in the 3rd inning after a couple of walks. But since that time, he's gotten it together pretty nicely. Struck out 3, throwing a lot more strikes. Rangers 2 outs into the 5th inning have only had a base hit to right field by Elvis and an infield hit by Rougned.
Duffy's 2-2 pitch to Fielder. That'll run the count full. Well, Prince with 2 outs trying to get aboard here in the 5th. Jurickson Profar, the Ranger first baseman tonight, getting that on deck circle. You just kind of get the feeling that the Rangers can hang around and get a couple of things together. You know, Fielder's gone. We'll discuss that in the 6th inning. But right now, Rangers down in order for the first time tonight. And after 5, it's the Twins 4, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Thousand fans at Globe Life Park on Sunday, July 31st. Going to be the final game of the Royals and Rangers series. Will be treated to a green dot bobblehead, courtesy of Ditto Tires. It's the second in a series of 3 dot bobbleheads this season. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com and be sure to collect all 3 dot bobbleheads. Cesar Ramos out for the 6th inning. And he's facing Miguel Sano to start things off. It'll be Sano, Dozier, and Max Kepler for the Twins. Sano tonight has struck out twice and singled. 1-1. Twins 4 runs on 9 hits. All 4 runs came in the first 2 innings, 2 in each of the first and second frames. 2-1. Sano, the big power hitting infielder. Wave and a miss. 2-2. Cesar Ramos, a Southern California product, went to Long Beach State University. On in relief. And gets the breaking ball just a little bit low. 3-2. 0-0. The number 3 hitter starting off here in the 6th. Brian Dozier, the second baseman, will be next. Payoff pitch. Tapped right back to Ramos. 1 gone. And before Brian Dozier steps in, we're going to send it over to John Radigan for a Chevy game break.
Second baseman Brian Dozier.
All right, John, thanks very much. Well, Chapman's had a little difficulty in the last week or so. Dozier takes the first pitch in for strike 1. Brian Dozier, an RBI single along with 2 walks tonight. You can see that RBI total now up to 42, and his on-base percentage back up over the 800 level. Elvis started to jump.
Thought he was going to have to jump higher than that.
And that had a little top spin to it.
Right fielder Max Kepler.
You notice Elvis immediately turned to look at Adrian Beltre to show him what happened. He didn't wait for Adrian to yell at him.
That'd be very unusual if you see the guy jump and the ball go underneath his glove. Yeah, Elvis was saying that ball was sinking.
Yeah.
Watch him right here. He's going to tell Adrian.
It went down.
It went down. I had to. I thought I had to jump, but I didn't.
Elvis trying to convince him it took a great athlete to make that play. Now 2 up, 2 away. Max Kepler 0 for 2 with an RBI tonight. Lefty versus lefty. See how that ball did? Kepler, a 240 hitter as Ramos comes back to him. And the chopper foul makes it a ball and 2 strikes. The new net man down there. The last time up, you remember, against Chichi Gonzalez, an 11-pitch at bat. And finally, that number 11 down there, a sinking fastball that he swung over the top of. Now Ramos 1-2. Kepler, as we mentioned, growing up in Berlin, Germany. Went to an American school over there, the John F. Kennedy School in Berlin. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Time the appeal down to Brian Knight at third. Knight said, nope, no swing.
Seemed to call it both ways.
Two and 2 to Kepler. Full count. Kepler, a 23-year-old, experiencing Major League ball for the first extended time. He's batting 5th in the order. He'll be followed by Robbie Grossman. Payoff pitch from Ramos. High in the air down the right side. That is hooking at the pole and just missed it.
Looked like he was trying to come back.
Foul. Yeah, that thing did stop hooking, didn't it? goodness.
Whoops. Now, glove would have caught that. At least he didn't hurt his hand. He didn't hit enough of his hand to hurt it.
I think he's being told how he missed it. Broken bat looper to right center field, and that is going to fall for a base hit. Kepler, whose business into the bat went down beyond first base, as his first hit of the night, a 2-out single, and Robbie Grossman will come up.
Fastball in the inside corner. Obviously hit him right off the hands and jammed him. You see that little piece in the middle that goes flying all by itself. It's such a funny feeling when you end up with a handle of the bat in your hand and no end of the bat.
Not funny, haha, though.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're not too happy about it.
Strange. Funny, strange. Pitchers are, but hitters not so much.
No.
Well, Robbie Grossman turns around to bat from the right side for the first time tonight. Grossman 1 for 3 with an RBI single.
One thing good about the bats when they do break like that, if there is anything good, is it doesn't hurt your hand as much. When the bat doesn't break and it hits you right there, or just cracks a little bit, hurts your fingers a lot more, vibrates more. You don't see that many. You see more bats crack all the way in half than crack just kind of sliced halfway down the bat like they used to. You could take those bats when you were a kid and nail them together and tape it up and continue to use them for quite a while. You don't see the bats break like that very often anymore, as much as you used to.
Ramos with a 1-0 pitch. Good changeup. 1-1. Paul Molitor probably didn't break too many bats in his day. He hit a lot of balls solid. Over 3,100 hits. 1 and 2.
I think as a group, the Hall of Famers tended to hit the ball on the barrel of the bat a lot more often than the rest of us.
That would make sense.
You hear stories about Hank Aaron's bat, and when you look at the marks on the bat, they were about as big as a baseball, right in the sweet spot of the bat. You didn't see any marks down near the handle or the end of the bat.
2-2 down. Robert Torino's been back there for about 155 pitches tonight already. Two and two the count. Check of Kepler at first, and almost will drive him back with a toss. Top of the 6th inning. Cesar Ramos trying to keep this at a 4-0 deficit for the Rangers. Call strike 3. He locked him up like a felon at home plate. Well, that'll do it. Kepler's base hit. One left stranded after 5.5. 4-0 Minnesota. time now for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is $100 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Leslie Moore from Burleson will win $100. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Leslie is going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, Leslie Moore down there in Burleson. We have Jurickson Profar, Rougned Odor, and Elvis Andrus to start things off for you. Sit tight. We'll see if we can't get you $100. Rangers would love to get on the board. You know, we've had 2 hits, and Jurickson Profar tonight has struck out and grounded into a double play. 1 for 2. That batting mark now at 322. 1-1. Been a pretty good downturn recently for Profar. Remember, Jurickson started off like a house of fire. Loops one down the left field line, slicing and just dropping 3 feet foul. 1-2. Profar, though, in the last 19 games, hitting .259, so he's seen his average in those 19 games drop from 397 down to its current 322. Has been driving in runs, so he has 9 RBI in his last 11 ball games. And as Tom told you, a couple of those have been as a pinch hitter. Key late game pinch hit RBIs. 2-2. Profar making his 5th consecutive start at first base in the absence of Mitch Moreland tonight. Going down the other line, and it's foul.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I just saw that when I looked over. Duffy, another 2-2. Got him swinging.
Well, Duffy,
8 strikeouts.
It was a struggle for Duffy into the 3rd inning when he walked Desmond and Beltre to start the 3rd inning. But since that time, he's only given up a single to Elvis, and he struck out 5. So he has settled down. He's worked in his curveball with good location with his fastball, and you have to give him credit. He was all over the place 2 innings and 2 batters into this game. And since that time, he's settled down. 98 pitches, got a great chance to finish the 6th inning, and he's pitching like a winning pitcher right now. Rangers let him off the hook the first couple of innings, but he's earning his outs now with good stuff and good location.
Odor, one of the 2 base hits tonight off of Duffy. It was a tapper off of his glove, off of Duffy's glove, as it went by the mound. And Rougned able to leg it out. 1 out of 2. Currently hitting at .269. 0-2. Well, the Rangers left 2 aboard in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. Make that 2 in the third. 1 in the fourth. And after that, Duffy has not allowed a base runner. Had to give his nail file to the bat boy out there. He was finished with it.
Duffy's featuring a nice curveball right now.
Yeah. Yeah, good sinking fastball that he's had, a changeup. He probably had a little bit better fastball when the Rangers faced him on Saturday in Minneapolis, but he has definitely worked that curveball in and the changeup a little better tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rougned waiting. Duffy to the wind. big crowd out here at Globe Life Park tonight. And hasn't had a whole lot of Ranger action to cheer, especially in the last couple of innings. You have to get the rally hats on early. Ripped but pulled foul on the second deck in right field. Door out in front of that just a little bit. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Odor, and as he goes down swinging on the 8th pitch of the at-bat here. 2 outs, 9 strikeouts. Now for Duffy, he has struck out 4 of the last 5 that he's faced. Elvis Andrus coming up. Elvis a strikeout in the 2nd inning. Had a leadoff single in the 4th, got as far as 2nd, and that was it. He's been the last base runner that Duffy has allowed. To center field, Buxton going back at the track, right up against the padding to haul it in. Elvis, a 400-foot out, and the Rangers gone in order. Duffy has retired 9 straight. After 6, 4-0 Minnesota. Tonight's Ford game summary has been all Twins so far. Robbie Grossman got the 2nd run of the game in for Minnesota in the 1st inning, bringing home Joe Mauer with the RBI base hit. And then Kurt Suzuki launched his 5th home run of the year into the Twins bullpen. Final run thus far scored on the RBI base hit off the bat of Brian Dozier. So 4-0 Twins. Bottom 3rd of the batting order to face Cesar Ramos here in the 7th. Eddie Rosario, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton. Rosario 1 for 3 tonight. Fouls that pitch straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosario, the average up over the Mendoza line. He's at 202. Ramos out there working his 2nd full inning here tonight. And he gets Rosario to pop it up on the infield. Adrian right next to the mound takes care of it for out number 1. 2nd time Rosario's given pop-up practice to the Ranger 3rd baseman.
Catcher Kurt Suzuki.
1 gone. Here's Kurt Suzuki now. Suzuki, along with a home run tonight, has walked and flied to right field. 1 for 2 officially. Along with the 9 hits. Now 10 hits. The Twins have also had 5 walks. And Suzuki put a lazy fly ball out to Shin-Soo Choo. 2 gone. Cesar Ramos working effectively here. He has retired 5 of the 6 hitters he has faced. Make that 6 of the 7 that he has faced. Byron Buxton 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of fly balls and a pop out. Nothing in 1. Byron Buxton, a 6'2", 190-pound center fielder for the Twins. Pulls that foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Buxton from Baxley, Georgia. Second overall draft pick by the Twins in the 2012 draft. Down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Buxton made his major league debut last year for the Twins. Appeared in 46 ball games. Ended up hitting .209 in his first foray into the big leagues. He's a career .300 minor league hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But Tom, that ability to hit you were talking about, and he exhibited that this year too when he went to AAA. It's there. That Twins is trying to find out how to bring it out as soon as possible.
You know, in a perfect world, a young player like Buxton would get 500 at bats at AA and then 500 bats at AAA, and then get his chance in the big leagues. But the young players today, a lot of them are so talented. The need is at the big league level, and talent gets the call over minor league experience, and sometimes they're a little bit overmatched when they first get there. It takes them a while to get acclimated, but there's no doubt that the talent is there. But it's a different ball game hitting in the big leagues than it is hitting in the minor leagues.
Well, Buxton, along with his time this year at AAA, had only played 13 games at AAA before he came to the big league last year. So not a lot of high minor league experience.
You know, and we've seen that with Rougned Odor when he got to the big leagues. He hadn't played a lot in AA. With Nomar this year, hadn't played a lot in AAA. And sometimes right off the bat everything works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Rougned worked out that year, and then the following year he got off to a bad start and had to go back to the minor leagues. It's all been good since then. Nomar has been pretty solid right from the start. Slowed down a little bit lately, but you know, you got to think the way he's built as a hitter, get his second wind after the All-Star break, and everything will be fine there. It's unusual for a 21-year-old to come up and excel, though.
Yeah, you're right. Three and 2 count to Buxton. Rangers captain having a little talk with a couple of youngsters.
There's guys like Chris Bryant, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. All those guys didn't spend much time in the minor leagues. Exceptionally talented kids. So I think the hope is when you've got a talented kid like that, you look to the guys that have been very successful and hope that your guy is going to be one of the same.
Shortstop Eduardo Nunez.
Well, it's baseball's biggest summer event, folks. It's baseball's All-Star Game. Don't miss baseball's biggest star. It's the 87th All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. That's coming up July 12th only on Fox. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Central. Buxton draws the 2-out walk. Eduardo Nunez, the leadoff man up there. A good changeup. Waved at and missed by Nunez. Couldn't walk to home plate in a better spot. But you talked about Mike Trout. Even Trout came up and had to go back down for the start of the next year after he made his major league debut. He wasn't quite ready. And he was probably as talented as anybody that's come to the big leagues in the last decade.
And the other factor is whether the kid is a college player or a high school player. College players have a little more experience.
One pitch. Has that trend been changing as far as you can tell in the last several years about wanting to develop players further than in other words, taking high school players rather than college players to develop in your own way?
I don't know.
I guess it's kind of a cyclical thing.
Yeah, there's been times where teams seem to have favored college players over high school players.
Buxton on the move. The pitch popped up behind home plate, but moved back and out of play.
Be a good one for when we have guys like Mike Daly up here during the game to ask. Not exactly sure what that trend would show.
Trino's getting thumped right on top
off
of the head.
He's already taken a ball right to the front of the mask, and now on the backswing, right on top of the head.
And that wasn't just a little tap on the helmet.
He was going up while the bat was coming down, so that made it even worse.
Kevin Harmon out there to talk to him and make sure that Robbie's eyes are both pointed the same direction. Goodness. Seems to be okay walking back. Anymore, it's not a matter of seems to be. He is okay, or Kevin Harmon wouldn't have left. And the trainer's very, very cognizant of the concussion protocol and its importance in today's game. What we have learned about head injuries. 2-2 the count. Nunez tonight has been aboard 3 times out of the 4 times to the plate. Single, double walk. He has scored a run. Buxton with that great speed at first, trying to establish his lead. And another foul back. Get a little enthusiasm going. Behind Cesar Ramos and the Rangers. This is the first of 4 the pre-All-Star break series. Rangers and Twins. Cole Hamels tomorrow night on the hill. Kyle Gibson will be his mound opponent. Saturday night, Ricky Nolasco goes for the Twins. Full count. No, with 2 outs now, Buxton will be off with the next pitch. Nunez trying to reach. Joe Mauer in the on-deck circle, hoping for a chance here in the 6th inning, 7th inning. Payoff pitch. Lost him. Back-to-back 2-out walks. Mauer will get a chance with 2 on.
First baseman Joe Mauer.
Doug Brocail, a quick visit out to the mound. Remember the outing that Cesar Ramos had in Boston. He sailed along pretty well and all of a sudden hit a wall. Got to about the 45-50 pitch mark. Doug out there to check on the left-hander, make sure he's okay. 2 on with 2 out. Mauer tonight, a couple of singles and a walk. He is 2 for 3 officially. Rangers in the outfield aligned against Mauer the other way. You see it out there in center field. Ian Desmond shading quite a few steps over toward left center. Ball 1. Mauer at .272 for the season. Two balls and no strikes.
Mauer's always been a hitter that takes a lot of strikes, takes a lot of pitches. 4th in the league this year. He's walked 48 times. Average is down. This guy's a batting champion. His average is in the 260s now. Walks give a decent on-base percentage.
Ramos back to him. Pitch is low, and Robinson was going to throw to second base and decided against it. 3 balls and no strikes. All of a sudden, Cesar Ramos sailing along and has walked back-to-back hitters with 2 outs here in the 7th, and he's fallen behind Mauer. 3 balls and no strikes with Miguel Sano in that on-deck circle.
Yeah, he retired 6 out of 7. The only base hit was a broken bat blooper. 2 outs, nobody on, cruising, and 2 walks.
Mauer with the green light drives it to left and deep. Mazara back right on the edge of the warning track as he hauls it in. No damage done. The 2 walkers left stranded. We will take the 7th inning stretch at Globe Life Park. The Twins leading 4-0. TNT high-speed internet replay. Telling you about Tyler Duffy tonight. He had 9 punch-outs. It didn't look good for him to start off, but boy, he really settled in. Duffy, 6 innings of shutout baseball. Only 2 hits allowed to the Rangers. Walked 4. Those were early, though, and as we mentioned, 9 punch-outs, and he was moving at high speed. Ryan Pressly, local product, on now to take over in the 7th inning. Pressly appearing in his 43rd game of the year. He has been a workhorse for this Minnesota bullpen. He's 2-4. That ERA at 3.65. The first pitch to Nomar Mazara is ball 1. Pressly, a 27-year-old, grew up here in the Metroplex, went to Marcus High School up in Flower Mound. Originally a draft pick of the Boston Red Sox back in 2011. Now to play by Mazara. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Nomar tonight 0 for 1. Has walked and grounded out.
Well, the series up against Minnesota, in those 3 games, we saw a number, just about everybody out of their bullpen, and almost to a man. We saw some young pitchers with good arms. And Presley's fastball was consistently in the mid-90s, a little higher sometimes. Pretty nice curveball to go along with it right there.
A ball and 2 strikes to Mazara. Just off the outside corner. Now 2-2. Ryan Presley, a Rule 5 pick by the Minnesota Twins from Boston prior to the 2012 season, or 2013 season. Spent the entire 2013 year with the Twins. Up and down last year and up and down in 2014. Sean Tollison out in the Ranger bullpen, loosening. Mazara trying to get aboard to start off the Rangers' 7th inning. Shallow left field. Rosario jogging in. Out number 1. And we'll bring up Robinson Chirinos. Well, as Chirinos ambles up to the plate, let's send it over to John Radigan for a Chevy game break. All right, John, thank you. Well, they're making some noise in that AL East. High and tight to Chirinos. Robinson tonight has struck out, grounded to short. 0 for 2, and batting average right now at a .209. Presley back to the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. The Rangers have had a grand total of 1 base runner since the 4th inning. That was a leadoff single in the 4th by Elvis Andrus. 2-1. Robinson back in. Presley gets the sign for the 2-1 pitch. Hit well to center field. Buxton retreating, still going back. Makes the catch as he moves onto the track and into the padding for out number 2.
Yeah, you almost have to hit it over the fence to keep him from catching it. Made a couple of really nice catches in Minnesota. And he's pretty much got that under control all the way.
Sure haven't seen anything that would look like a mark on his defensive ability scorecard.
Nope.
He does everything pretty well out there. Here is Shin-Soo Choo, and he takes strike 1. Choo 0 for 3 in his return to the lineup. Fly ball to right, a strikeout, a ground ball to short. One ball and 1 strike. Pitch all the way to the backstop, and it's 2-1. Presley last year, 27 games with the Twins, was 3-2. Had a good ERA at 2.93. And he's fallen behind now, 3-1. If Choo can get aboard with 2 outs, Ian Desmond would have a shot here in the 7th inning. And now with a count of 3-1, the Twins will go into that shift as they move Sano from third base over to the first base side of second. Little topper down the first base side, and Maurer will step on the bag, and that'll do it. Well, Presley sends the Rangers down in 1-2-3 fashion. We have finished 7 innings here at Globe Life Park. It's the Twins 4, the Rangers nothing on Fox Sports Southwest.
Time for Progressive Fan of the Game. We're going to change things up tonight. Connor came to me earlier. What's going on, Connor?
Well, today's my mom's birthday, and I really wanted to make her fan of the game.
Okay, she does a lot for you. Okay, I'm going to let you take the bag. Your mom's right there. She has no idea what's going on. Take the mic. Let's go do it, Connor. Let's go do it.
Hi, Mom. I wanted to make you fan of the game. Thank you for doing my homework, or for helping me with my homework, taking me to practice, and for being in my life. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Very nice, Connor. Congratulations. Fan of the game, Progressive Fan of the Game. And Connor, great son. Happy birthday. There we go. Buzz.
All right. Nice going, Noxie.
There's a sentence that wasn't in my vocabulary at that age. Not that I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known how to say it, though. Good for him. Wow.
John Tolleson starting off the 8th inning, and Miguel Sano greets him with a solid base hit up the middle. Sano with his 2nd hit of the night. John Tolleson appearing in his 32nd ball game of the year. Last time we saw Sean 2 nights ago in Boston, worked 2/3 of an inning. Pitched against the Twins last weekend on Saturday. Worked the 3rd inning and a 1/3 against Minnesota. Scoreless baseball. 2.98 the league average against Tolleson. That's been coming down, as has the ERA, now down at 5.76. Brian Dozier, a base hit in 2 official trips. 1 for 2 with an RBI. Twins tonight, 7 walks to go along with their 11 hits. One and one. Dozier at 253 average as he faces Tolleson. Dozier 0 for 3 in previous matchups against the Ranger right-hander. 1 and 2. Rangers going through a tough time right now. The road trip got off on a bad note with a game that ended up taking 8 hours to complete. And a swinging strike 3 as Dozier's gone. And Rangers more than one time ran out of gas. The starting rotation had a tough time as the road trip went on, getting out of the first few innings. Bullpen got worn out. It was a worst case scenario in a lot of respects. Offense was good. Offense was very solid the entire trip, but things just went south a bit for the pitching staff. Defense faltered from time to time. Ended up being a 4-6 road trip. Rangers coming back home hoping they could recapture the magic they experienced.
Yeah, and all teams go through a difficult part of their schedule. This has been a difficult part of the Rangers schedule. All those games with no time off. 4 o'clock game in New York. Get back home last night. Guys probably got to bed around 5 o'clock. Have to come back out and play. Everybody goes through that.
Yep.
And I think everybody has times in the year where they're a little bit tired and they struggle. So it doesn't distinguish one team from another, but that's what the Rangers are going through right now. All teams, most teams have injuries. We talked about the Blue Jays basically not having any injuries in their rotation until recently. The Rangers have had some injuries, and that's where depth comes into play. And if you have the depth, you maybe can make a trade, then you can stay right in and accomplish your goals. But it doesn't ever seem like it goes smoothly from day 1 to day 162.
Right. No, you're exactly right. Anytime you take a snapshot, which today is for the Rangers, you're going to get all kinds of varied things. You may catch them on an upswing, may catch them on a plateau that's either low or high. Right now, the Rangers on a little downturn, but get it going again. Wouldn't hurt to have that man back in the Ranger rotation. Yu Darvish. Yu is going to throw a bullpen and decide when he's going to go back out on the rehab assignment. Deep right center field off the bat of Max Kepler, and he has done it to the Rangers again. This time a 2-run home run to deepest right center. It is a 6-0 Minnesota lead.
Kepler's a nice looking player. Kind of a raw talent. Mentioned that he's from Germany. Doesn't have the same experience that players that grow up here have. He's got the physical tools. Looks like he can run well and play the outfield, and we've seen him show some power too. A nice player to watch grow if you're a Minnesota Twins fan.
No, base is empty now. Robbie Grossman takes strike 1. Ian Desmond doing all he possibly could to keep Kepler's ball in the ballpark.
Just ran out of space.
Grossman 1 for 4 tonight. RBI single. Good off-speed pitch from Tolleson. Tolleson, that's the first time that he has been scored upon since back in the 10th of June. Angels scored a couple of runs, or I should say Seattle scored a couple of runs against him in Seattle. And since then, he had 10 outings where he had been unscored upon. 2-2. Tolleson picks out a sign. He is ready to work. The left field Mazara coming on. He'll have to pull back and play it on a hop. Grossman has his second hit of the night. So 3 hits in the inning. 2 runs across. Grossman aboard. Eddie Rosario will be the next hitter. We mentioned a big Ranger crowd out here tonight. 43,934 on hand, and a little bit of disappointment after the 2-run Kepler home run. Ground ball through for a base hit. Grossman to second will stop there. Eddie Rosario with his second hit of the night.
Catcher Kurt Suzuki.
Rosario at first, Grossman on down to second. Kurt Suzuki, 1 for 3, a home run and a walk. Suzuki a .283 average, 5 home runs now, 28 RBI. Donaldson missing just a little bit low for ball 1. And Sean wants a new baseball. That request is granted. Base hit to left by Suzuki. Grossman being waved home. The throw from Mazara, not in time. The throw back to third, not in time. As Rosario able to take the extra 90 feet.
It looked like the throw was there in time. Not sure if the tag hit the hand before it got to the bag. Twins finding some holes there with a couple of ground balls.
And Jeff Bannister out of the Ranger dugout. They're going to take a look at that play. Says to the umpire crew, I want to challenge that one at third base. Well, Bill Miller, the crew chief, get the headsets on with Replay Command Center back in New York. They will take a look at that angle and the other ones that are at their disposal. See what they can come up with. Or the crew chief, the second base umpire, and Brian Knight made the call third with the headsets on. Hard to tell from that angle exactly when the tag was applied, but Elvis had that tag on for a little while. He was kind of disappointed when he heard the safe call yelled out. Bill Ford bringing you the Rangers challenge on this call. Again, the call on the field is safe. To have clear and convincing evidence at Replay Command Center back in New York to overturn this call.
Taking a good look at it, taking them a while to decide.
And in at the bag, and again, hard to tell from that angle exactly where the tag was, or where the tag was applied, where the hand was.
Unless it hit early, where it was questionable, he would look like he was safe. If the first tag was the one that we saw hit the kind of the back side of him, couldn't tell if he hit early or not. Didn't look like it from that angle.
Well, the umpire is still in contact with New York. And again, the shot zooming in. Yeah, if he tagged him on the arm as he was going back, that would have been in time, but I'm not so sure that he did.
Yeah. From that side, it didn't look like he tagged him. It looked like the first tag was on the back, but we'll see.
And safe is the call, so the call at least stands, if not is confirmed. But in any event, the call does stand. So safe at third, a run across. That makes it a 7-0 Twins lead. Runners at first and third, still just one out. Credit the RBI to Kurt Suzuki. Byron Buxton up for his 4th plate appearance tonight. He walked his last time up. So 0 for 3 officially. Strike one. Buxton a .207 average, That's out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. One home run, 11 RBI for Buxton. Got Rosario at third, Suzuki at first. Way out in front of home plate. Nice job by Robinson Chirinos to prevent that ball from going all the way to the backstop. Oh, Sean Tollison, a rough outing command-wise here tonight. One, 2. Base hit to left.
Well,
Into scores Rosario.
They're hitting the ball solidly, and they're definitely finding holes. That's the 3rd ground ball that's found a hole in the infield today. Haven't been many hit right at someone. They've hit a lot of balls well, and when they do, they find a hole most of the time.
Doug Brocail again making a quick visit to the mound. That is the 6th hit of the inning. 4 runs have come across. Still just 1 out. Top of the order, due up again, Eduardo Nunez, who has walked twice tonight. He is 2 for 3 officially. Buxton at first and Suzuki down at second. Nunez, a .319 batter. Twins now 8 runs on 16 hits tonight. They have shut out the Rangers on just 2 base hits. Strike 2. Low bridge. A ball and 2 strikes. Ground ball, right side, base hit. Coming around third, Kurt Suzuki. He is in without a throw. On to third goes Buxton. It is a 9-0 Twins lead.
It just defies the laws of averages when you see all these ground balls and none of them are going at somebody. They're just every one of them. They're all hit solidly. It's not like they're cheap hits. But occasionally you want to see one go at somebody, get a double play, and get out of the inning. But there's another one struck solidly and eluding an infielder.
Rudnett doing all he possibly could to get there. Just came up a little bit short with the dive. So first and third, 5 runs across in the frame. And Joe Mauer, the 9th hitter to come to the plate here in the 8th inning, will step in.
And again, it just kind of keeps happening. You don't want to see Sean have to stay out there for this many pitches. This is his 26th pitch, but based on the status of the bullpen, he's going to have to stay out there.
Mauer a hit, 2 hits. And he lines one. This one.
That's what we're talking about.
Elvis maybe half a step to his right, able to corral it. 2 gone.
Third baseman Miguel Sano.
Apparently the secret is to get the ball in the air and get it at somebody.
Keep it off the ground.
Yeah. So it brings up Miguel Sano again. He started all this mess with a base hit to center field on the first pitch that he saw from Sean Tollison. line drive by Joe Mauer stopped a streak of 6 consecutive Twins reaching base. 2-0. And Sano, a towering fly ball to left. Wind has a full effect on it. Coming on in, Mazara, and he makes a circus catch, having to run about 50 yards to make that play.
That's as fast as he can run right there to make up ground.
Man, take a look at this. You talk about the great circle route.
He took a look to center to see if Desmond was anywhere near.
That's it for the 8th. Twins on top big, 9-0.
Work to do if they want to come back late in this one. We head to the bottom of the 8th with Texas trailing the Minnesota Twins 9-0. It is game 1 of a 4-game series to close out the unofficial first half of the season. Game 2 will take place tomorrow, same time, same place, 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. There you see one of the featured matchups, and this one is Kyle Gibson gets the ball for the Twins. Elvis Andrus with good numbers against Gibson. Hopefully that will carry over tomorrow. Big thanks to the fine folks at AT&T High-Speed Internet for getting us ready for game 2 of 4 between the Twins and the Rangers, guys.
All right, and thank you very much. Well, Ian Desmond starting things off here in the Ranger 8th inning. Now a huge hole to climb out of, 9-0. Trevor May, the 6'5" right-hander, is a 26-year-old out of Longview, Washington, appearing in his 31st game of the year. 0-2 with a rather bloated 5.86 ERA this year. Desmond down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Ian has walked twice and struck out. 0 for 1 officially, hitting at .320. The 1-2 on the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
May has a 5.86 ERA. He's pitched 27 2/3. He struck out 41, so he must have some decent stuff to go along with it. He's either giving up runs in bunches, giving up 5 home runs. That accounts for some of it.
Got him swinging. Desmond striking out for the second time. 1 out. Jared Hoying. Yeah, he is warming up in the bullpen. Our TXU Energy power player to watch. Jared Hoying talking to Brian Holman out there and saying, okay, let me see what you got. and here's how you need to use it. TXU Energy bringing you that nugget from the bullpen. Well, we saw Brian Holiday pitch an inning in relief. That was up in Minnesota. That was that 17-5 game.
Brian had a knuckleball. He had pretty good stuff that day.
Hope that wasn't the cause of him going on the disabled list. You get position players doing that. Who was that the other day that had to go on the disabled list after he pitched in a
Darwin Barney?
No, it was the guy before him.
Oh,
Goins,
Ryan Goins?
Yeah. He had to go on the disabled list the next day.
Yeah, they used 2 guys.
Two and one the count to Adrian. 0 for 1 with the fly ball. Also a hit by pitch and a walk. Towering pop-up. Dozier, the second baseman. They come in as the wind plays its tricks. 2 gone. And next will be Prince Fielder. The Rangers have had trouble with the Twins recently. It's not just in these last 4 games. Against the Twins, just 2-5 since the middle of last year. 1-2 in this ballpark and 1-3 up in Minnesota. Rangers do have an edge of 20-13 since 2012. And Fielder lost a fly ball. That's going to be knocked down by the wind. Buxton, long strides, makes a lot of ground up in a hurry, and the Rangers gone in 1-2-3 fashion. We're going on to the 9th at Globe Life Park. 9-0 Minnesota.
Twins as we head to the 9th inning, and barring an unbelievable 9th inning comeback, the Rangers are just going to wash this one off, forget all about it, and come back out and play again tomorrow. We are here, me, Mark McLemore, Pudge Rodriguez. We're here to help you wash this one off. We will definitely give you some post-game perspective, some analysis. We're headed into the clubhouse, and we'll hear from the manager as well. It's coming up right after the game. Rangers Live, also your post-game shower, guys.
All right, Josh. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll look forward to that. You're going to need a shower after this one.
I need one of those buckets of Gatorade poured on me right about now.
No, those buckets for Gatorade is only for winners.
That's a good point.
we don't qualify for that yet.
No. If we won 15-0, I wouldn't be a winner today. Well, see what Jared's got.
Jared Hoying on, and first pitch, or second pitch, right into the glove of Ryan Rua, the new first baseman. Well, Jared Hoying. And he's got that below hitting speed pitch that you talked about.
I think that's the smartest way to go about it. Throw something they don't see very often. The only time they see a pitch thrown like this is if the guy's halfway to home plate throwing it.
Jurickson Profar moves from first on over to third as Rua comes in.
I think what Jeff Bannister probably told him is get us through the inning and don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want any heroes. Just do your best to lob a strike in there. Eventually they're going to hit it at somebody and we'll get out of this inning.
Three balls, no strikes. Kepler, another big night against the Rangers. He is 2 for 4. Had a 2-run home run last inning. Had a single in the 6th. 3 RBI more tonight. He has just gone crazy against Texas pitching. Being very patient against Jared Hoying.
How's he trying to work him here?
In the middle of that strike zone. 3-2 pitch. He popped him up. The wind will push this back toward the diamond just a little bit. And Elvis going to backpedal and make a miraculous catch.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. For Minnesota, ranking Kenny Vargas.
Elvis having to cover a lot of ground out there. So with 2 outs, Kenny Vargas is going to come on as a pinch hitter. Vargas a .286 average, just 7 at bats. Big, powerful switch hitter there from the left side.
He's got swing and miss stuff tonight. Took a little off that one. That was 59 miles an hour.
Desmond going to track this one into left center field, back at the wall, and it's in the bullpen. Vargas, a home run to the bullpen in left center, and that makes it a 10-0 Twins lead.
Well, Vargas was ready for that slow pitch. Sat on the bench for 3.5 hours, came up and hit a 59-mile-an-hour changeup out of the ballpark. He'll take it. He's not complaining.
Left fielder Eddie Rosario.
Yeah, that wasn't slow motion, folks. That was real speed. Eddie Rosario, 2 out of 5 tonight. That was going to be sliced into the seats right down the third base line. The Twins tonight, 10 runs on 18 hits. They have left 15 men on board on top of that. One and 2.
It's kind of a fun game for the hitter because this is an at bat you've never had this year.
Elvis gets the handy second hop, and that'll do it. Well, not a bad job by Jared Hoying. He does give up the home run to Vargas. We're going to go to the bottom of the 9th. It's the Twins on top of the Rangers, 10-0. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By AT&T High-Speed Internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, the Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Michael Tonkin, the fourth pitcher used tonight by Paul Molitor, will take over on the mound. Michael Tonkin appearing in his 37th game of the year. 2-2, that .395 ERA. He's worked 41 innings. 51 strikeouts, 13 walks, a .253 opponent's average. And Jurickson Profar swings through that first pitch. Profar 0 for 3 tonight. 1-1. Jurickson a couple of strikeouts, a double play grounder. Eduardo Escobar stays in the ball game, and he's at second base. And changeup pulled foul. 1-2. Second time in less than a week that the Rangers against the Twins have been the victims of a blowout. Minnesota scoring 17 on Saturday. And tonight they put up double digits again in 10. And Rangers have had to go to position players in each of those two games to finish it out.
And Minnesota's left 15 men on base.
Twins 18 hits. They've been granted 7 walks and a hit by pitch. So far, a little pop up to Sano at third. Out number 1. Next will be Rougned Odor.
Second baseman, Rougned Odor.
Odor stepping to the plate. 1 for 3 tonight. And an infield single in the second. Other than that, he's grounded out and struck out. You mentioned tomorrow night, 7 o'clock right here at Globe Life Park. It'll be Cole Hamels and Kyle Gibson, principals in that ball game. Rangers have not announced who their starter will be on Saturday. Ricky Nolasco will pitch for the Twins. Even money odds that it'll be Nick Martinez with another start. And there's a base hit right down the first base line for Odor. And it gets by Kepler into the corner, so Odor is going to continue on to third. And he is in standing with a 1-out triple. Rougned has 2 of the 3 Ranger hits tonight.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Just inside the bag and kind of tricky corner down there. Max Kepler had that ball get right on by him. Rougned took advantage. Odor third with 1 out. And Elvis Andrus fouls off that first pitch. Odor with his second triple this year. Elvis 1 for 3. And that is by Rosario into right center field. Odor will trot home. Elvis with the RBI single. He has a 2-hit night. It is 10-1.
A couple of solid base hits for Elvis to right field. One got out to right center. That one just by Escobar at second base. The Rangers are on the board. Well hit ball by Elvis. Tonkin gets it up there pretty well, 94 to 96. Elvis turned it around.
Well, you wore them, you might as well keep them out now, the rally hats. Omar Mazara takes a strike. Stranger things have happened. It's been a while probably, but stranger things have happened. Mazara, a walk back in the second. Since then is grounded out and flied out. And to finish off with the pitching matchups, A.J. Griffin and Tommy Malone will work on Sunday afternoon. Elvis is going to go to second on defensive indifference.
Well, the only guy who's not indifferent about it is Tonkin. If this guy, if Nomar singles to center and he scores for another earned run.
Yeah. Yeah. Nomar waiting as Tonkin sets. 1-2. A little chopper foul. We'll try it again. And a ball and 2 strikes. Nomar with the average at 285, and diehard Ranger fans hoping get a chance to applaud a few more times in this 9th inning. Deep but foul down the left side. Tonkin peering in for the sign. Elvis, modest lead at second. Tonkin kind of grinding this out. He wants to keep that run from scoring. A little bit high. 2-2. Sano gloves it. 2 gone. Going to bring up Robinson Chirinos once again.
Catcher Robinson Chirinos.
Chirinos hit the ball hard his last time up. He drove Byron Buxton, the center fielder, all the way back to the wall to haul in his shot. Robinson 0 for 3 tonight. Ball 1 is a bit outside. One and one. We talked about Cole Hamels working tomorrow, and Cole trying to get things back on the right track. Had a kind of a clunker of an outing against the Twins in his last time out. He'll try to rebound from that one. Cole going to make his 18th start of the year. He and Martin Perez, 2 Rangers that have 18 starts. Three and 1 to Chirinos. Robinson can prolong this 9th inning. The top of the order, and Shin-Soo Choo waiting. Pop foul coming back our way. And the count is full. Both the Mariners and the Astros have lost tonight. So if you are inclined to scoreboard watch here before the All-Star break, that's good news. And Chirinos down on strikes. That'll do it for the Rangers. They get a run on a couple of hits in the ninth. But the Twins win it going away.